Unseasonably cool for the early part of June here in Cincinnati, but after a day off yesterday, Reds back in action at home. The start of a 9-game, 10-day homestand. It begins with a 3-game set against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Who would have thought? Here we are 2 months into the season, and the Reds and the Pirates are the top 2 teams in the National League Central. You see the Reds in front of both the Pirates and the Cardinals by 3 games. Hi and a pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Kelch, along with the Cowboy Jeff Brantley. Welcome to Reds Baseball here on Fox Sports Ohio. Well, the Reds can settle in now for the next 10 days. They are home 9 games in 10 days. And, Jeff, as we said, it begins with a series against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, the Reds were just over there. And, boy, the guy going tonight, Homer Bailey, was simply outstanding in his contest against the Bucs.
Well, the one thing that Homer Bailey did do was pick up a win in Pittsburgh. The Reds have got to put together this type of pitching performance in the games against the Pirates here. Homer Bailey was absolutely outstanding, as he has been every time he's faced the Pirates. He has yet to lose against this ball club, whether it be at PNC or whether it be here at Great American Ballpark. He has been dynamite. You look at Homer's record, well, that ought to tell you the story right there. This is by far his favorite team to face. The one thing that he's got to do tonight is keep it that way, because the guy on the flip side, Jim, AJ Burnett for the Pirates, boy, he was awfully tough against the Reds his first time out against the Reds in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the first 3 batters in that game reached against him. Then he set down 17 in a row. We know he's a ground ball guy. He got 14 ground ball outs in that game.
He really did, and a lot of it was throwing first pitch strikes and continuing to pound the strike zone. 7 innings, no earned runs, only 1 unearned run. That's got to change tonight for the Reds to win.
Well, it would figure to be a very good pitching matchup. Homer Bailey for the Reds, A.J. Burnett for the Pirates. A couple of very hot teams atop the National League Central. Fans coming into the ballpark here. It's a Tuesday, June the 5th. First of a 3-game series against the Bucks. First of a 9-game homestand. Time now to take a look at tonight's weather report, brought to you by Thompson Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Drain Cleaning. Here's Tim Hedrick from WKRC.
Oh, my goodness. I haven't said this in a long time. Second place, Bucks in town. The Pirates in second place. First pitch, slight chance of a shower. Most areas remaining dry. Halfway home, you're looking at 65. Heading for home, about 62 degrees. Did you see against Colorado the Joey Votto hop step against Jamie Moyer? Jamie Moyer's pitching at about 76 miles per hour to get up in the box. Votto hop step and then pops it out. Woo! Enjoy the game on Fox Sports Ohio.
Both these clubs come into this series hot, Cowboy. Let's take a look at the Reds first.
Well, you look at the Reds, and this number right here, well, it may be great at some point in time that you can hit a lot of balls out of the ballpark, but you don't want to live and die by the home run, because great pitchers, the top 1s and 2s, don't give up that many home runs.
Reds went 17-11 in the month of May, and now what about these Bucks?
Well, I think the big number to look at right now is this number right here. They have won 7 of their last 9 ball games. The last time this club have won 8 of 10 was back in 2008. I mean, we're talking way back, long time ago, and the Reds aren't going to let them do it tonight.
Well, the Reds have played the Bucks 6 times this year, all in Pittsburgh. This is the Pirates' first visit to Cincinnati in 2012. The 2012 Ford F-150 Motor Trend Truck of the Year by Cincinnati, USA. Let us be your travel guide to Cincinnati. Visit CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Game time is Skyline time. Stop by your favorite Skyline Chili today. Crowd coming in here at the ballpark. First game of this 3-game series. The Reds and the Pirates. They've played 6 times, as I mentioned earlier. Each has won 3. Homer Bailey makes his second start against them, and of course his first here at Great American Ballpark. Let's take a look now at the Pirates lineup, brought to you by your AXA advisors. Alex Presley just back today from AAA Indianapolis will lead off. Then Neil Walker and Andrew McCutchen. Garrett Jones, Matt Haig, and Casey McGee make up the middle 3. And the bottom of the lineup, Rod Barajas catches. Clint Barmas, who homered in their game on Sunday, plays short. A.J. Burnett pitches. On the mound for the Reds, the right-hander Homer Bailey, and here's a look at his numbers courtesy of Jose Cuervo.
Well, his numbers have been phenomenal, especially against this Pirate ball club. As we showed you earlier, Homer Bailey, a little bit of a rough outing early in the season, but he has come back with a vengeance. He has put together quality start after quality start, and for this Reds ball club, that's how you like to do it.
In fact, 4 consecutive quality starts. 8 of his last 9 have been quality starts, and overall 8 of 10 so far this year.
Well, the one thing that Homer Bailey has done is he has quit trying to strike out every batter that comes to the plate. What he is trying to do is make the hitter put the ball into play on a pitcher's pitch rather than trying to strike out every batter that stands up there. He is turning into a pitcher right before our eyes, and he's a good one at that.
Well, it's Alex Presley, who started this season here with his club, spent the first month here, then was sent down to Indianapolis, and with the AAA club he hit .277 in 18 games with 5 homers, 14 runs batted in. He's back up here to try to get that #1 spot in the Pirate order going, and I know that sounds familiar because that's the same issue that the Reds are having. Leadoff man grounds out. Let's take a look at our Ford dealer's defensive look at the Redlegs. Heisey, Stubbs, and Bruce across the outfield. Infield is Frazier, Cozart left side, Phillips, Votto right side. Mesoraco catches Bailey. This is the 11th start for Homer and the 10th consecutive start that Mesoraco has been there. The opening start of the year for Bailey was Hannigan. Everything else has been Mesoraco.
And they have learned to work awfully well with each other.
Here's Neil Walker, promoted to the #2 spot, at least for tonight's game for this series. He's hitting .263, a couple of homers, 18 runs batted in.
Well, I think they expect more out of Neil Walker than just the .263.
In the air, carrying well toward the track, and Heisey gets there to run it down. Cowboy, I thought you made an interesting observation in the open regarding the home runs, because this club, this Reds team, as we take a look at that pitch again.
Good fastball down in the way, and he gets the pop up.
This club lived by the home run in the last homestand, and then only didn't hit any in Pittsburgh, and had the one big home run game down in Houston. You can't really live and die with that, can you?
Well, you can't do that, and the Reds have been able to start getting production from other people besides just Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and Jay Bruce. The 3, 4, 5 in your order are there for a reason. Yes, they do put numbers up, but this Reds club is beginning to score in other spots. And I think if you can do that and put together those 4, 5, and 6 pitch at bats, as we saw Todd Frazier do the other night in Houston, this club almost came back and won that final ball game and swept that series.
That's the game you're talking about on Sunday. They got down 5-1, 5-2 rather, scored in the 8th, had a big chance in that inning, and then unfortunately went down in the 9th in order against Brett Myers.
Well, the 8th inning was where the Reds really put the hammer down. They had runners all over the place, and it all started with Frazier.
Here, 2 out, nobody on, and Andrew McCutchen, who is having, like Joey Votto, a big offensive year for the Pirates, comes in 4th in the league in hitting at .337, but the Reds have been able to handle him pretty well. 3 for 14. Anything that you see as to why?
Well, I think the one pitch that McCutchen has difficulty with is the pitch that is down and away. He can handle that pitch up there.
He went up to get it and lines it into left field, so McCutchen is hitting 4 in a row, and the Pirates have a 2-out base run.
This is a fastball up and out over the plate, and you see where Mesoraco's glove is. Basically hit the glove, but a good pitch to any other batter may not be a good pitch to Andrew McCutchen, as we saw there. He hit that baby right on the nose.
So McCutchen, who had a terrific month of May at .360, continues his hot hitting ways here in the early days of June, and the Pirates will bring Garrett Jones to the plate, left-handed hitting right fielder. He has played right. He has played first base for them.
McCutchen, a 350 hitter against Homer Bailey. And Garrett Jones not so bad himself. He does have a home run, and he's a .273 hitter career against Bailey.
Late cut there, and now Homer quickly ahead. No balls and 2 strikes. Why has Homer Bailey had such success against Pittsburgh, Jeff?
I think it's because he uses all of his pitches. I think the one thing that you watch against the Pirates, Homer never overthrows. It's always trying to make pitchers pitches and make quality pitches down in the zone, and that's why he has been so successful.
This one is in the air toward the stands. Votto and Phillips are over there, but neither can get it.
A lot of young pitchers with that power arm that Homer Bailey has, when you come to the big leagues, you feel like, well, I've struck out everyone in Little League, college sometimes, A-ball, AA, AAA. Well, why shouldn't I try to do that here? Well, it doesn't work here because these guys are the best of the best. They're the best in the world. And when Homer is really on his game, and we normally see that against the Pirates, he's been on his game every time against this ball club. He pitches. Fastballs down and away, backdoor breaking balls. He'll throw that split finger, a good slider. He'll use the fastball up, as we've seen already here in the first inning, and he'll run the ball away from left-handers or cut it into them.
That one bounces away from Mesoraco. McCutchen takes off, and they've got him at second base.
Don't run on that boy.
He's got a cannon, and he shows it off right there. McCutchen out to end the inning. Courtesy of your AXA advisors, Cozart, Stubbs, and Votto, Phillips, Bruce, and Heisey, Frazier, Mesoraco, and Homer Bailey, who, by the way, had 2 hits in the last game he pitched against Pittsburgh. And here's the starter for the Bucs tonight, A.J. Burnett, and his numbers, courtesy of Jose Cuervo.
It's very difficult for any pitcher to start back-to-back starts against the same exact club. And that's basically what A.J. Burnett is doing here tonight.
Well, he's 4-2 of the 360, and he faced the Reds on May the 30th over there. That was the final game of that series, and I don't think it's a stretch to say he was dominant.
He was dominant. He got through that first inning, and the Reds did put a run on the board, albeit an unearned run. But after that, he was first pitch strike after first pitch strike, and the Reds had a tough time.
He threw 103 pitches through 7 innings in that outing over in Pittsburgh, allowed, as Cowboys said, 1 unearned run and only 2 hits. Walked 2, struck out 3, and had 14 ground ball outs. 35 years old, out of North Little Rock, Arkansas. First year as a Pirate. He came over here from the New York Yankees. You recall he signed that big deal with the New York Yankees. 5 years, $82 million through next year. Back in 2008 for the 2009 season. By and large, as a member of the Yankees, didn't live up to the money. 34-35 record with a 4.79. But boy, he's had 6 quality starts in 8 starts for the Pirates. I would think they have been very happy with his numbers.
I would say so. I think the big thing for A.J. Burnett is getting out of the first couple of innings.
Hard and off the glove of Casey McGee, and Zach Cozart is going to be aboard. That'll be a base hit for the University of Mississippi product. Batter will be Drew Stubbs as we take a look at the Pirates defensively. Our forward defensive look at Clint Hurdle's club. Presley just up from AAA. McCutchen and Jones across the outfield. McGee, Barmas, Walker and Haig the infield. Barajas catches A.J. Burnett as he did in that last game over in Pittsburgh. So the Mississippi product, Zach Cozart is aboard. Cowboy, your home state, at least where you live now, down in Jackson, where you have some special folks indeed tuned in to the game tonight.
Yes, I do. Both of my children, they're actually getting to watch their father on TV for the first time tonight, Elizabeth and Mason, and can't help but be excited about it and say hello to my family. They don't normally get to do this. They're normally either in bed or somewhere else.
I thought you were going to say you can't help but beam, because you are beaming. You're a proud papa.
I am a very proud papa. There's no doubt about that.
Well, hello, kids, and we hope you'll enjoy Dad's work tonight.
Exactly.
As we all here do.
Daddy, how come we can't see your face all the time? We only see the game. Well, I'm not. They aren't here to see me. They're here to see the people on the field. Daddy used to do that, not anymore.
That's right. That's right. Well, so as Cozart did in his first at bat against Burnett over in Pittsburgh, he reaches here. There's one that bounces away. Cozart was running. He'll get a stolen base. That'll be his second of the year. Boy, it's eerily similar to how that game started on May 30th over there. Cozart led off with a double in that game, and now here he is at second base tonight.
Well, you see this hard breaking ball. It's an over-the-top curve ball with a lot of overspin. When the ball hits the ground first and then short hops the mitt, it's almost as if it crawls up the arm of the catcher, Barajas.
So now a base hit could give the Reds the early advantage in this game. Cozart aboard at second now with nobody out. Good idea to get that runner along by Drew Stubbs, but it's a foul ball. You know, you look back, Jeff, at Cozart's stolen base numbers. Last year he stole 9, but 2 years ago at Louisville he stole 30 bases. This is a guy that could do, you would think, more running, couldn't you?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think the Reds could do a tremendous amount of more running at the top of the order, and I think it would help this offense click much better. It would add some excitement to it and add a little bit more production. But then again, you got to be on base to run.
Well, that's been the issue with the #1 spot, as we alluded to when Presley was up. With both these teams, neither one of them have gotten anywhere near the production out of the #1 hole that they would like to get.
But the one thing that I have noticed is that even when Drew Stubbs is aboard and Joey Votto is at the plate, Drew doesn't do a whole lot of running. He does not run when Votto is at the plate. Now, I don't know if that's because they want to keep that hole on the right side or if it's because Joey doesn't like to have somebody running while he's hitting.
At 3-2, Stubbs draws the walk, and so the first two have reached here in the bottom of the first. Hey, fans, don't forget, Play Along with Fox Sports Ohio closes at the top of the second inning. So log on to Fox Sports Ohio right now, click on Play Along, and watch the rest of the game to see how you do. We'll have your bonus question, the bonus question in the bottom of the fifth.
Well, the Reds have got to get it while the getting's good.
Well,
and I would say right now would qualify.
You like to see Stubbs, and he's done it a lot more in the last 2 weeks. Take a few more pitches, walk a little bit more to get on in front of this guy, Joey Votto.
Amen.
There's been nobody in baseball that's hitting any hotter than this guy right now, Joey Votto. And he smashes the first pitch into center field. Cozart was caught going back toward second. He is waved around. Stubbs hustles over to third. Votto now has an 11-game hitting streak. Give him his 34th run batted in to tie Bruce for the team lead. And the Reds jump in front 1-0.
That was a very unique running situation as Votto hits a bullet right back up the box. You could almost tell that Zach Cozart was caught for a moment. Watch him freeze, make sure the line drive goes through, but you got a speedster right behind you. Andrew McCutchen probably would have been better served going home rather than going to third. There was no chance he was going to get Stubbs there.
Yeah, I thought that might look a little odd that the throw went to third and not home because of the break that Cozart didn't get from second.
Yeah, Cozart was the one that got the bad break. Stubbs was off to the races.
And it wasn't because he misread it, but it's because Walker was cheating up the middle of the second baseman.
Well, when you're on first base, you know where the ball is at. At second base, you have to turn just for a second and make sure that the ball gets through the box before you go. Easier to read at first than it is at second. Either way, the Reds are on top.
Into the Reds dugout on that foul ball by Brandon Phillips. Well, you can see on that replay that Walker was a little bit up the middle, but Barmes was the one that was almost behind second base. The last thing the Reds wanted to see was Cozart break instantly and somehow that line drive be snared. The end result being a double play.
You never want to be doubled up with nobody on a line drive.
So now the Reds have equaled the run total they produced against this guy Burnett in 7 innings over in Pittsburgh 6 days ago, and have scored more earned runs against him now than they did in that game, which was 0.
Well, this is the type of pitcher, A.J. Burnett, that you have to get early in the ball game. Don't let him settle in. A high fastball there, and that was a four-seam fastball, not the type of sinking fastball that we saw throughout the ball game in Pittsburgh. And I think this is where you can get A.J. Burnett out of his ball game and out of his rhythm. Make him pitch with runners aboard more times than not. Then he tries to dial it up a little bit. He tends to get up in the strike zone, as we've seen the last 2 pitches. Take his sinker away from him.
Phillips looks at a 2-2 and on a check swing takes ball 3. Well, on Sunday against the Astros, he went 0 for 3, but boy, he had a couple of big hits late in that game on Saturday. The double in the 6th that gave the Reds the lead, and then that big 2-run single in the 8th. Nice graphic there, 21-7, the Reds when they score first this year. Phillips drove in 6 during the road trip, including Pittsburgh and the Houston Astros. Has 29 RBIs on the year, but hitting only 130 against Pirate pitching in 2012. Play him straight away. And he pops it up. Walker handles it, and that's the first out here in the Reds' first inning.
Boy, that has got to be frustrating for Brandon Phillips, especially hitting in the 4-hole, knowing that any kind of fly ball whatsoever gives you a 2-run lead. They run the ball right in on his hands. Phillips trying to go the other way with the 2 strikes. Just could not get to it. You could see his head drop as soon as he made contact.
You had to be encouraged, though, by what you saw from this Reds team from a runners in scoring position standpoint on the road trip. They went 9 of 18 in Houston and 378 overall on the 6 games on the trip.
It's getting better.
And in fact, they had been below 200 for the longest time as a team, and they entered today's game at 227 as a team with runners in scoring position.
I think all of the Reds are starting to relax a little bit. Know that the player behind you is going to pick you up if you can't get it done, or if the pitcher decides to walk you.
Bruce in the air. This should get a run home. Out there in left field, it's Presley. Makes the catch, concedes the run. The throw goes into second. RBI and a sac fly by Bruce, is 35th, and it's 2-0 Reds.
The thing that I like to see more than anything else is watching Jay Bruce from a mental standpoint try to drive the ball the other way. That's when he gets hot. And we know, everybody knows, Jay Bruce gets hot, this team will roll like a hammer.
And how about when Stubbs scores? This team is 24-1 when Drew Stubbs scores a run. Votto takes off.
Great.
And that's a stolen base without even a throw.
I'm going to tell you what, Joey Votto, watch him in the corner of your screen there. He had a good 3 to 4 steps before the right-hander Burnett ever gave the ball to home plate. That is awareness of the game and taking advantage of it. Now, we saw Joey Votto get thrown out in an attempt to steal a base on the road trip. That's going to happen sometimes, but aggressive baseball is aggressive baseball. You push it, and you push it against the other team and force the errors and force the other club to make good defensive plays.
Well, the Reds stole 3 bases in 6 games on the trip. They stole 2 here in the first inning so far tonight. They have a good home record to the Reds, 15 wins and 9 losses against the Pirates' record on the road coming into tonight's game, which is under 500. The Bucks come into this game at 11-15 away from PNC Park.
I don't think there's any doubt that this club, the Reds, have speed all the way through the lineup.
It could mean another run as Heisey goes around on the 1-2 pitch. That's a strikeout, and it ends the bottom of the first. But it's successful. A 2-run Reds lead. Lawyers for serious injuries, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. There's the Reds' #1 pick last night in the first-year player draft, Nick Travieso out of Florida, and he is a right-handed pitcher of some note, Jeffrey.
You look at this young man, even a very small shot of the picture. Look at this type of upper body that this kid has. I mean, that broad of a neck is going to tell you this kid has a big amount of shoulder strength, big body, 6'3", 220.
Leadoff base hit now here in the second inning by Garrett Jones, who was left standing at the plate when McCutchen tried to move up on what he thought was going to be a wild pitch, and now Jones singles into right field, and leadoff man aboard, hit #2 for the Pirates. And by the way, Cowboy, we are hoping to speak with Nick Travieso maybe near the top of the hour.
That would be great. I'd love to be able to just see how the kid's coming along and how excited he is to be a Cincinnati Red.
Runner going. Here's the throw, and safe at second base. How about Garrett Jones, their cleanup hitter, not known to be a big base runner? He gets his second steal of the year.
Well, as we saw A.J. Burnett earlier, not paying attention to Votto, Homer Bailey does the same thing.
Only the third stolen base against Homer on the year, but if you're from a Pirate standpoint or an opponent standpoint, you pick something out, you're going to do it, take advantage of it, and that's what they did there. This will move the runner up as Phillips gets the ground ball off the bat of Matt Haig, throws him out.
Matt Haig can handle the bat a little bit, and that's one of the reasons that he was brought to the big leagues. Very fundamental when it comes to swinging the bat and doing things at home plate.
Batter now is Casey McGee, the former Milwaukee Brewer, brought over here to play first base. McGee had a decent April at 269, but he really hit the bottom of the barrel in May, only 104, so much so that he has been bumped out of his job over there at first by the aforementioned Haig, playing third base tonight, which has been the job of Pedro Alvarez. 2 quick strikes on the veteran McGee. He had a couple of very, very nice years with the Brewers. 09 he hit 301. 2 years ago, 2010, he drove in 104.
But if you're Homer Bailey here, now is the time you go for the strikeout. Got a runner at third with 1 out. If you're going to strike somebody out and you need a strikeout, this is where you go after it. And he has really put some good hard fastballs right on the hands of McGee. If he goes slider away, you got to get it down there.
McGee this year 105 at bats, 24 strikeouts, so basically 1 every 4 times up. He's susceptible to the K.
Well, they tried the curveball out there, but that was way outside. Looks like they're going there again. Just missed.
From a team standpoint, the Brewers lead the National League in at-bat strikeouts. 439 of them coming into this game, means their hitters strike out more than any other team. And that's what Homer's gunning for here.
Nice block. Tried to go with a split finger fastball inside, and Homer held on to it just a tad too long. Watch the catcher behind home plate. That is a rookie, Devin Mesoraco. This kid can play.
Hammered down the left field line, but foul. Whew. Third base umpire down there, Chris Guccione, made the Reds fans happy with that signal.
Homer Bailey had so much success with a slider against this club in his last start. but yet here early he's going to the curveball. And in my mind, that's his 4th best pitch.
You got to give McGee credit. He's battling up there.
He is.
It was 0-2. Now it's 3-2 with a number of foul balls since then. Upcoming will be pitch number 9 from Bailey to McGee here in the top of the 2nd.
Well, McGee wants to swing the bat. If Bailey can get it close.
Sliced into right. That's down for a base hit. And the Pirates are on the board. It's 2-1 Reds. Kroger and the Reds proud to offer you a great value this season. It's the Kroger Meal Deal. Check concession stands throughout the ballpark for the Kroger Meal Deal. That includes a hot dog, a bag of chips, a 16-ounce Coke, and during this homestand, a pack of Planters nuts. Get the Kroger Meal Deal on your next trip to Great American Ballpark. Casey McGee gets RBI number 7. The Reds lead cut in half. Here's the catcher, Rod Barajas. Pretty good piece of hitting there by McGee.
Well, he did a good job of working the count to a position where he knew he was going to get a strike. And he got a fastball inside and just got the bat to the baseball, and the velocity of the pitch allowed it to get to the outfield.
1-1 now to Rod Barajas. 240 average, 5 home runs, 11 runs batted in. He has been swinging a pretty good bat, Barajas.
Barajas is one of those throwback hitters, if you will. Stands kind of with an open stance, dives into the plate, but he's not trying to hit the ball to right field. He's trying to jerk it out of the ballpark and left. Look at that head. That was a breaking ball down and away. He almost broke his back trying to pull it.
Well, this Pirate team comes into the game 1 over. That equals their high water mark of the year. They're 27-26.
Look at that swing. I don't think you ever saw that.
Toward the hole, picked nicely by Frazier for the out at second base and on to first, but not in time. Phillips went up and came down to avoid the sliding Casey McGee at second. That cost the Reds the out at first. Brandon did throw once he landed, but not in time.
Well, a high hopper to third, and you'll see some second basemen take this ball and throw the ball as they fall over the runner sliding. Phillips decides to jump over the runner and then make the throw, but by that point it's too late.
So Barajas aboard with 2 men out. Clint Barmas, the shortstop, at the dish. Barmas at 176, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. His home run on Sunday in the top of the 9th inning that gave the Pirates a 6-4 lead at Milwaukee. They went on to win that game 6-5, took 2 out of 3 from the Brewers. They won on Friday up there 8-2 behind Kevin Correa. They lost on Saturday 5-1 to Sean Markham. And then I don't know how you can not call James McDonald the ace of their staff. He beat the Brewers 6-5 on Sunday. Luckily, Cowboy, the Reds will avoid him here in Cincinnati in this series.
He's been awfully dominant against the Reds club. But McDonald has done nothing more than just throw fastballs and breaking balls for strikes.
Toward the alley by Barmas. That's going to get down and going to tie this game, maybe. Barajas chugs around third. He is going to score without a throw, and it's a 2-2 game on a double by Barmas.
Drew Stubbs went down to pick up the baseball. They were going to hold the runner at third, Barajas, but when he picked the baseball up, he dropped it. Either that or he did not get it up. That pitch was supposed to be down and away. Left it right in the heart of the plate. And you can watch Stubbs as he goes to pick up the ball. He comes up, the ball's not in his glove. And in my mind, that's an error. That's not a triple or a double with a run scored.
Official scoring on that play is a double, a run batted in, no error, and a 2-2 game here in the top of the Pirates' second. Here's another look.
As the ball comes off the wall, the ball is in the glove of Stubbs, and then he drops it. That's what allows the runner to score from third base.
Now, I didn't see, and maybe you did. Did Barmas slow down when he came toward third? Pardon me, Barajas?
No.
That may be why they didn't give Drew an error. Barmas' 9th double. The Pirates stake the Reds 2. Get him back here in the second. Here's a look at Rod Barajas.
Boy, he is really running fast, huh?
He's looking for that oxygen.
Tell you what, if he picks it up and throws it to the Cozart, he is dead at home plate.
Yeah, better than average shot, you would think, at getting Barajas at home.
I mean, that's about a quick walk is what that was.
Barmas 1 out of 14 against Reds pitching this year. Prior to that at bat, comes through with a big knock for Clint Hurdle's club. Now Burnett strikes out, ending the top of the second. But the Bucks answer the Reds 2 with their own 2, and we're 2-2 in the middle of the second. Moment of the game. Brought to you by Miller Lite a little bit later on. Reds fans, if a Reds player hits the Toyota Tundra sign during tonight's game, Brandon Von Alfeld.
Very good.
Mason, Ohio, will drive a 2012 Tacoma away. Win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at GABP. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. 2-2 game, middle of the second.
With 2 outs in that last inning and the runner going on contact of the bat, Rod Barajas, as you said, never slowed down. He was never held up by the third base coach. And as the official scorer so perfectly put it to me, you can't assume that even if Drew Stubbs had got the ball and thrown it in on his first opportunity instead of dropping it, that the 2 throws would have been perfect to home plate. That's why it is a double and an RBI and not an error on Drew Stubbs. even though he did drop the ball when he picked it up.
That's good, clean, concise thinking by Ron Roth, the official scorer. Nicely done, Ron. And a good explanation given to you.
Well, you have to do it the right way.
Frazier leads it off out of the 7-hole in Dusty's lineup tonight. Hitting .267, 6 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Frazier a double, scored a run in the 8th inning on Sunday, did not start. Miguel Cairo started over at third base. Late cut there, and now he's in the hole 1 and 2.
You know, the one thing that you hate about the whole inning is the fact that you had Clint Barmas in a hole with 2 outs, and you leave a ball right down Broadway for him to rip into the gap with the pitcher standing on deck and 2 down.
You know, Cabo, you take a look at Frazier and what he has done since Rolen went on the DL on the 12th of May. He's making his 19th start since that time. And in 18 games, 5 home runs, 11 RBIs. Pretty good numbers right there. The .235 average has been going up. He's kind of easing his way into this everyday thing, isn't it?
His at-bats are getting better and better.
Not that one as he strikes out.
That was not one of them. That's the pitch that he has got to learn to foul off. And yes, you do have to learn how to foul a pitch off. You see where that ball is? It is on the white chalk in the left-handed hitter's batter's box. That's about as perfect of a shot right there as you can get from the camera side to see where that baseball was.
So 1 out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Burnett. Heisey to end the first, Frazier to start the second. Here's Devin Mesoraco. Devin checks in at 200, 3 homers, 8 driven in. Did not have a good month of May at all. Hit just 135 during the month. That's after he had a very good April. Hit 300 in April, only 135 in May. Team-wise, the Reds hit 240 in April, 242 in May, but they showed a lot more power the second month of the season, I guess, as the temperatures warmed up.
Well, I think the one thing that I've noticed about Devin Mesoraco is he tends to have an awfully good eye at home plate on the fastball in or out. Now, if he can transition that into recognizing the breaking ball earlier.
It's this ball well, tailing away from McCutchen, but he will run it down on the edge of the track for out number 2.
Well, McCutchen was calling for that ball 15 to 20 yards before he ever got to it. Watch McCutchen raise his left glove. I've got it, I've got it, I've got it. Now the ball comes down.
All-star last year for the Pirates. Certainly to go with his great defense, even better offense this year. Probably be an all-star again this year.
Ball was slicing all the way.
So 2 out for Homer. And another base hit against the Pirates by Homer Bailey. He had a multi-hit game in his start in Pittsburgh just the other day on the 29th. And he gets a hit here. So the Reds get their 3rd hit. And a 2-out base hit by Homer.
Now you have to work on it to make it right. And Homer Bailey does just that. Keeps that shoulder right in there. And the Performance Honda Exmo shows you exactly how Bailey does it. And I can tell you from experience, swinging that bat and hitting that ball, that is not fun.
That one rolls away and is going to allow the runner Bailey to get into scoring position. Barajas kind of reached for that ball and it cost him.
He did not block it correctly. As we saw Mesoraco earlier, he reaches for it, and when you reach for it, you got a problem. Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting, healthier products for your menu. That's JTM.
Wild pitch on A.J. Burnett. Well, there's some digging being done right there now. Do you see that stat? 126th career wild pitch, most among active pitchers. That's some digging being done right there.
Yes, sir.
Lauren White doing the digging, finding that unique stat. Thank you, Lauren.
Well, it should tell you about what you need mentally to hit against A.J. Burnett. He's got that 12-6 curveball, and if you can't block it, well, you surely can't hit it. And he doesn't throw it for a strike very much at all. So if it's a bender, let it go.
What's your other axiom that you say if it's
low, breaking ball, of course, or an off-speed pitch. If it's low, let it go because it's going to drop below the strike zone. If it's high, it's going to drop right down into your area. So if it's high, let the bat fly.
Low, let it go. If it's high, let it fly.
You got it.
Tried to hold up and could not. Kozar, a strikeout victim. Third of the day for A.J. Burnett. Bailey stranded out at second. Third inning baseball from Great American Ballpark. First game of this three-game series. The Reds, the Pirates. The game is tied 2-2. Homer Bailey against A.J. Burnett. We are very pleased and privileged to have the Reds' #1 pick in the first-year player draft, the first round of which was conducted yesterday in New Jersey. Nick Travieso on the line. Hello, Nick.
How's it going, guys?
Excellent, excellent. Congratulations, Nick, on being drafted by the Reds. And you sounded, when we heard you talk last night on the MLB Network, and from the various things that we have read and heard, very excited to be a member of the Reds organization.
Yes, sir. I can't be any more proud to be selected by such a great organization.
Nick, the one thing that I wanted when I came out of college was to be drafted by the Reds. Unfortunately, you got it. I didn't. I had to go to San Francisco. How fun is it to know that you are drafted by an organization that wants you and wants you to be part of their big league pitching staff as soon as you are ready to do so?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. I feel honored and humbled by the opportunity to prove what I got, and I'm grateful that the Reds have the faith and trust in me to get the job done at the next stage.
Now, Nick, I know that you have agreed to go play collegiately at the University of Miami. So where are you now in terms of weighing college scholarship versus professional career at the get-go here?
But right now, to be honest with you, I'm just waiting to get my professional career started. I'm waiting for the papers to come in so I can finally sign and get going already.
That sounds great. I wanted to ask you one thing, Nick. My dad, even though he's gone now, he played a huge part for me as I was coming up, not only in the baseball world, but just being a man. And I know that you had mentioned something about that. And can you tell us a little bit about your pop?
Oh, my dad, you know, he means the world to me. He's always looked after me, even pitching and off the field. He's done everything for me. He's been with me on every step. He's saved Mom a lot throughout the years, not overthrowing me. He didn't want me to be a prototypical Florida high school guy who doesn't have an arm by the end of high school. So thank him a lot for that, for saving my arm. And, you know, he played a big role in me last night getting drafted.
Ball hit toward the corner off the bat here of Alex Presley, leading off in the Pirate third. He's going to round second and head to third, and the speedy outfielder of the Pirates gets himself a triple to start the top of the third. We're visiting with Nick Travieso. He was the #1 pick by the Reds last night in the 2012 first-year player draft. Nick, I've heard you say that you had some ties down in the Florida area to the Reds, right?
Yes, sir. I have Tony Arias. His son plays on my team, Nick Arias. He's been there every step of the way. You know, he's helped me out with the process, keeping me calm, keeping me focused, and he's just been a great mentor the whole time.
It's kind of hard going through a season, and you have a pretty good idea that you're going to be picked high, but yet you don't know exactly who that might be, and it does weigh on your mind, doesn't it, partner?
Oh, it does. I mean, I feel like I was kind of prepared, though. I was preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. So at the end of the day, I was really excited at having to fall in the hands of the Cincinnati Reds, and I can't be any happier.
Nick, I know that the word came out that you actually started your, I guess, your high school career before being a starter in a closer's role, right? Explain how that all turned out.
Oh, I've been a closer my whole life. Growing up, like I said, my dad saved my arm. Last year, as a junior, I only pitched about 18 innings. This year, I got up to 65, and I feel like my arm just is very fresh and very healthy. I feel like I'm holding up great becoming a starter now.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because there are so many pitchers now that are big league pitchers that came from a position player background. They may not have thrown much at all in high school, but maybe played shortstop or center field or first base, something like that.
Right, yeah, I was also a two-way guy. I was a power hitter from the right side. I had a pretty clean stroke, so, you know, I think it's helped me save my arm a lot, and I'm just grateful for my opportunity now.
Speaking of power stroke, we just saw Garrett Jones from the Pirates hit one. Excuse me, Neil Walker hit one over the 404 sign in dead center field off Homer Bailey.
Two-run homer by Neil Walker has given the Pirates now a 4-2 lead here in the top of the third. Nick, will let you go with one more question, and that is, you've talked a lot about Roger Clemens being a guy that you've idolized, that you've tried to copy his game with your game in terms of the work ethic and the like. I don't guess this whole trial thing that he's going through now then is affecting your feelings toward the Rocket.
Oh, not at all. I mean, he's a competitor. You know, I loved him since I was growing up. I've always critiqued my game after him, and I feel like I've kind of taken his bulldog mentality on the mound, where, you know, that's my play, and you know, you get too close, I'm going to come after you. So, I mean, I just loved him my whole life.
I tell you what, partner, you keep that kind of mentality, and we'll see you shortly, because that's what it takes to pitch in the big leagues. I like that a lot.
Sir, I've always had that mentality, and I'm going to stay with it.
Atta baby.
Nick, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations again on being drafted #1 by the Reds, and we hope everything gets worked out quickly and you are playing professionally for the Reds in the not too distant future, young man.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it.
Congratulations.
Again, that's Nick Travieso, the #1 pick of the Reds out of Florida, Archbishop McCarthy High School down there in Florida. His hometown is Pembroke Pines. 6'2", 220, right-hander. #1 pick by the Reds.
Very well spoken, I might add.
I thought that last night when I heard interviews. I was in on the conference call with him late last night and thought so again then, and certainly he reiterates that tonight. Meanwhile, here on the field, Reds led 2-0, now trail 4-2. You know, you take a look at what Homer Bailey has done lifetime against Pittsburgh. The most runs he's ever given up against them in the game was 3. He did it once last year, once back in 09, and now here tonight he's given up 4, including that home run by Neil Walker, his 3rd of the year. 2 of those 3 this year have come against the Reds.
Well, I'll tell you this, we've had a couple of lapses in judgment, both in center field by Drew Stubbs and there by Jay Bruce in the corner on the triple by Presley. And very rarely does that ever happen. But I believe that had Drew Stubbs not dropped the ball, he could have had a play on Barajas at home plate. I mean, we saw him running around the bases. He was gassed. But then the ball that led off this inning that was hit down into the corner, I don't know that I've seen any player that Jay Bruce allowed to get to third base on a ball that he got too cleanly. It was almost as though he got the ball and flipped it back into Brandon Phillips, and Nick Presley was in fast forward, and it didn't seem as though the Reds knew that he was going that quickly.
Young man had 4 steals in 4 attempts down at Indianapolis this year, and he showed very good wheels on that 3-base hit.
Well, between him and Andrew McCutchen, I would imagine that they could both give Drew Stubbs a run for his money. Those 2 cats can fly.
2-1 to Matt Haig with 2 out, and now a sharp single up the middle is the 3rd hit of this inning and the 7th for the Pirates against Homer Bailey. Take a look again, Jeff, at the ball you're talking about, the triple by Alex Presley.
And this led off the inning, and it got off the bat in a hurry. Got down to the corner, ricocheted. Jay gets the ball up, and the throw was not as though, I mean, you see the throw there. It was not as though they were trying to get a guy that was going for a triple. That was just a lob back into second base, thinking, well, he's going to stop at second. No chance that kid was stopping at second.
More air under that thing than you would have expected.
I mean, he just lobbed it in instead of rifling it.
Casey McGee, who battled Bailey his first time and lined a single into right, up there now. 1 ball and 1 strike. This inning, triple by Presley, the homer to dead center by Neil Walker, his 3rd of the year and his 2nd against the Reds this year. Andrew McCutchen grounded out to short. Garrett Jones fanned. Haig singles into center. Neil Walker still talking about that home run down in the Pirate dugout. Now McGee.
Yeah, you hit one to dead center in any ballpark, you can talk about it all you want.
55th home run given up by the Reds pitching staff this year. They came in the upper 3rd of the league in home runs given up. Some of that certainly a product of this ballpark.
Right.
There goes the runner. And a stolen base. And again, a great jump by a young man who doesn't do much running at all. Matt Haig gets his first steal. So the Pirates have steals from Jones, his 2nd, and Haig, his 1st. That tells you something.
The problem that you have here is getting the ball to home plate. A high leg kick, not thinking about the guy running. And anytime that you get that full leg kick and no real throw over or paying attention to the guy at first, they're going to steal you blind. And everybody that is watching thinks that, well, that's Mesoraco's fault that the guy stole from first to second base. I don't care if it's Johnny Bench back there on that play, you're not going to throw him out.
What that does, of course, is put Haig in scoring position for McGee, who's already driven in a run tonight. And now he walks on a 3-2 pitch. First by Homer. And now 4 of the 6 who have come up there in this inning have reached against the 26-year-old.
Well, the Reds have got to do a better job as a staff, a starting staff, of holding the runners closely when they're in a position at first base to steal. You've got to give both catchers, Hannigan and Mesoraco, a chance, just a chance, to throw out the base runner. You've got to get the ball out of your glove and to home plate by the time you make your first movement in at least 1.35 or 1.4 seconds at the most. If you do that, nobody will be stealing, because the opposition and the other dugout, they've got stopwatches, and when it starts reading 1.48, 1.5, they're going to run Garrett Jones and they're going to run Matt Haig.
So now they have 2 on with 2 out and 2 in. Barajas, who hit that grounder to the left of Frazier at third his first time, is up there. Pirates have scored 4 unanswered after the Reds had taken the early 2-0 lead. Well, they came in here last year, dominated the Reds in this ballpark, winning 5 of 6, winning the season series against the Reds.
It's got to get Homer Bailey back in a groove. Right now, his fastball is just a couple of inches higher than what it normally is. A product of, I would assume, a little bit of frustration at this point.
Giving up 4 runs, 7 hits, trying to get through the third. Yeah, this is not the same Homer Bailey that we have seen 8 of the last 9 times up. Pirates come in here again in early August, again in early September, and then the Reds go to Pittsburgh one more time this year. So these two teams will play 18 times. Awfully familiar with one another by the time they meet in late September, PNC Park.
Right, and it is a battle, and you're going to see teams in the Central Division over and over and over again. Sometimes very quickly, like this, where you're on the road and you come back home and boom, there they are again. It's almost like they live here.
Reds start today 3 games ahead of Pittsburgh and St. Louis in the National League Central. Cardinals are in Houston tonight and have jumped out in front in that game early, 1-0. The series continues with night games both tomorrow and on Thursday. Tomorrow, Johnny Cueto against Brad Lincoln, and it was Lincoln who we were originally told, Jeff, who was going to pitch tonight, but they kind of flip-flopped. And then on Thursday, Mike Leake against Kevin Correa.
Well, Homer Bailey's pitch count is going to the moon quickly, and that means it is rising. He is at number 72, and this will be the 30th pitch and 72nd pitch of the ball game, 30th pitch of the inning.
Movement now down in the Reds bullpen. Runners are on the move on the 3-2 delivery, which misses outside. Barajas draws the walk. Back-to-back free passes by Homer. And they're loaded with 2 out for Barmas. Alfredo Simon, the long man, gets up. Starts to heat it up for the Redlegs.
You've got 2 outs in the inning. Bailey obviously got behind in the count with Casey McGee. Did not want to try to come in with a pitch there. Same thing happens here with Barajas. You had no choice now.
Well, you'd really like to be able to keep this thing
right where it is.
Yeah, keep it close. It's a 4-2 game right now, and admittedly Homer is not having his best outing, but if you can get Barmas here, you're right in this thing. Barmas doubled to the alley and left center his last time.
And Barmes is a dead red fastball hitter. Middle in, that's what he wants. And we saw what he did with it earlier.
Now he's down a strike, 1-2.
He does not like that one down and away.
Former Rocky. We saw him with the Astros for one season last year. They brought him in here, but he just hasn't hit enough to stay in the lineup. They brought a young man up, Mercer from AAA. We saw play a couple of times in Pittsburgh. In the left, a base hit by Barmes. 1 run will score. 2nd run coming home. He will score. Touching the plate for the Pirates is Haig and McGee. And how about Clint Barmes, a 176 hitter on the year, now 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs in this game.
Tried to go with a split finger there, and a split finger that doesn't split, well, that's usually what happens to it. It gets hammered. It looks just like a fastball. You don't fool the hitter much with the speed. And he was right on it.
Well, now it's 6-2 in favor of Pittsburgh. 9th man to bat in the inning is the pitcher, A.J. Burnett.
Take that back. That was not a split finger. That was a hanging slider. Maybe that's the one thing that Bailey has had so much trouble with. The slider is just not doing what he wants it to do. You can see the hand on the side there of the baseball.
We had a 3-batter first inning, did Bailey, thanks to the pitch in the dirt and McCutchen taking off to second, and with the help of Mesoraco he threw him out. But he labored in the second, 2 runs, 3 hits. Now he's given up 4 runs so far in this inning. Close. Back in time at second is Barajas.
I am amazed at how quickly Cozart can sneak in behind these runners and able not only to make the catch while moving, but to drop the tag on the base runner while moving in behind him. That is so difficult for a shortstop to catch that ball and make that tag.
Swinging bunt. It's going to stay fair. Bailey's going to throw, and they get him at first thanks to the help of Joey Votto, who came off the bag nicely down there, caught the ball, put the tag on Burnett, and the inning is over. We'll take another good look at it here. The Pirates get 4 and lead 6-2. In the world. He's just 1 spot short of competing in the U.S. Open. Plus, the Big Ten prefers a +1 system for college football playoffs. Will it happen? You can find out on FoxSportsOhio.com. Hey, Reds fans, get to GABP this weekend. Cheer on the Reds as they take on the Detroit Tigers. Friday, stick around for a post-game fireworks show featuring a Motor City soundtrack. Then on Sunday, a Drew Stubbs die-cast toy car giveaway. Don't miss the Reds and the Tigers this weekend, presented by KOI Auto Parts. Call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or Reds.com. Homer Bailey, a rough 3 innings thus far. 6 runs, 8 hits, a couple of walks, a couple of strikeouts. Not what he had envisioned, Cowboy, when he came to the ballpark tonight.
No, he did not. He does not have the breaking ball that he had in his last start against the Pirates. He was throwing a lot of sliders that really had some tight bite and down and away movement from these Pirate hitters. But tonight, he's even gone to the curveball and trying to throw the slider and trying to force it. It has just not come back to him, and that was the pitch that cost him the last 2 runs.
Well, you saw the graphic up there. 78 pitches through 3 innings in this game. His complete game effort last Tuesday in Pittsburgh, 103 pitches in 9. Drastic difference. Well, Reds have the work cut out for them, needing to come back against A.J. Burnett, trailing 6-2. Stubbs leading it off.
And I would imagine Homer Bailey's done, because Simon is still throwing and throwing hard.
I was going to say Burnett has not been nearly as invincible through the first 2 in this game as he was over there.
No, and giving a pitcher like Burnett a 4-run lead, the Reds are just going to have to chip away and hopefully get in a position where they can put together some at-bats and maybe a run at a time.
The third. Off the bag on McGee's throw is Haig, but he makes the play, and there's 1 out. Make sure you check out tonight's Mega Millions jackpot. It's worth $14 million. Drawing is at 11, so you still have yourself 2.5 hours or so. Mega Millions jackpot tonight, $14 million.
What do they do with all that money if nobody wins? They just add?
Hey, just roll it over, baby.
Really?
Roll it over.
Does it go up to like 28?
It goes up to more than 28.
Does it really?
Yeah, it'll keep climbing.
Ooh, doggies. Well, they put the big-time shift on Joey Votto here.
Pirates do this more than anybody else, don't
Everybody over here, Lone Ranger on that side.
Usually Walker or the third baseman, McGee. Well, we've seen them play Alvarez way out in shallow right field. Not so much this time.
Well, they've got Barmes, Walker, and Haig on the right side, and McGee all by himself on the left side.
Joey lined one up the middle his first time. He hits the ball in the exact same spot in this at bat, and Barmes will make the catch. Check swing, and it goes the way of the Pirates. 2-1. Check that 1-2.
The breaking ball of Burnett just goes straight down. Bloop. And when you're looking fastball in, you cheat a little bit.
Tries to hit it to the left side and does, but right at Casey McGee. And there are 2 down.
Is that not amazing to you that all of the room on that side of the infield, and Votto does what he's supposed to with 2 strikes, an emergency swing, tries to shoot it that way, and it goes right to him.
Foot either way, and he's got himself another hit.
Unbelievable.
A.J. Burnett must feel like he is living in the lap of luxury tonight. He came in with only 2.7 runs versus of support in his starts this year. 2.7 tonight so far, 6. First time this year that the Pirates have scored more than 5 for him in a game.
Well, you can see Burnett starting to settle in now. That last pitch was a curveball right on the inside corner for a strike. Normally for Burnett, that breaking ball is not a pitch that he commands as a strike.
Brandon down 0-2. Popped up his first time. Phillips 254 in April, all the way up to 283 in the month of May. We heard Dusty say before the game he's slowly but surely seeing Brandon come around more to the Brandon Phillips that we expect to see. But he strikes out here. That's strikeout number 4 for A.J. Burnett, and his first perfect inning of the night.
Extensive interviews, features, first look at the lineups, and more. It's Reds Live presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Join myself, Jim Day, and Jeff Picoro for that. And well, when you're on the batting cage, you can see some stars from time to time. In fact, we saw some today. Guests of Bronson Arroyo, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, fresh off of being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. They will play U.S. Bank Arena tomorrow night. And they took some hacks in the cage, including my man Flea, who plays a mean bass. I'm not sure if he swings a mean bat. But the Red Hot Chili Peppers, guests of Bronson Arroyo, and I know Jim Kelch, and particularly Jeff Brantley, big fans of the Chili Peppers.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jim Day. Flea, when he was trying to put that glove on, looked like he had never looked at a baseball glove before in his life.
Yeah, and I don't know if you caught the shoes on there, but he had some colorful shoes as well.
I didn't see him on the tape there, but I did see them live and in person in the clubhouse.
They were something to see.
I saw him looking at his hand after he hit the ball. It hurts if you don't hit it in the right spot.
Thank you, J.D.
You got it, boys.
Meanwhile, new pitcher on for the Reds. Cowboy.
That might affect his finger picking. On for the Reds, big right-hander Alfredo Simon. Simon has thrown the ball awfully well for the Reds. And in this situation for Simon, all he wants to do is try to keep it right where it is. Try to close the door as far as the scoring goes from the Pirates situation. And when you watch Simon pitch, he's got some high velocity fastball, anywhere from 94 to 96. He's got good movement with it. He throws a split finger and a curveball as well. But the big thing for Simon, get it in there and make him swing it.
Hit well toward right center field, chased by Stubbs right in front of the wall. He handles that drive by Alex Presley, and the leadoff man gone here in the 4th inning. Neil Walker will come to the plate as we take a look at our AT&T trivia question of the night. No matter if you're on radio or TV, Cowboy, you can't get away from trivia. And here's tonight's question. Who are the 3 relief pitchers with the most wins in the 70s? Who are the 3 relief pitchers with the most wins in the 70s? That's not Reds history. That's Major League Baseball. All right. Get your thinking cap on over there, I can tell. There's your first hint. You can pronounce that.
Kinesiology.
All right.
I had to take that before I realized that I was not going to be a doctor.
So you dropped it.
Well, I just knew that I was going to be a doctor of a different kind.
Okay. Neil Walker, a homer is last time, 2-run blast into center field. Second hit, father of a country singer.
Well, I know that one.
I know that one too. Shot up the middle and a base hit for Neil Walker. He's 2 out of 3 now today. 9th Pirate hit. And another hit. Reds Hall of Fame. So each of the answers has a hint to it. We know one, we think. We may know a second. Runner going, swing and a miss. Throw is there. Oh, safe the call at second base by Bill Welke. Look of disbelief on the face of Mesoraco, of Baker, and more likely than not of Brandon Phillips. Dusty displeased in the Reds dugout. Take another look at it.
It looks
appeared to get him right there, didn't they?
Looks as though they got him there, but when you tag someone up high on the body, more times than not, you're going to get the safe call.
Third of the year for Walker, third of this game for the Pirates, who came in with only 27 as a team, 13th in the National League.
But the big thing is how quick you get the ball to home plate. And there with the leg kick of Alfredo Simon, as I said earlier with Homer Bailey, if you don't get the ball to the catcher quickly, you're not giving him a chance at all.
3 pitches and McCutchen disposed of by Simon for out number 2. Alfredo Simon last worked in the Pittsburgh series. He did not work at all down in Houston. Worked in the game on the 28th. That was the 4-1 loss. That was the first game of that series. He went 3, allowed no runs, 2 hits. Let's take another look, Jeff, at that steal at second.
A slide step is an abbreviated motion with your front leg where you pick it up and you get it down in a hurry. You don't pick it up and then take your time getting the ball to home plate. You pick it up, get it down in a hurry.
I saw nothing on any of those replays that would lead me to believe that Walker was safe.
Well, I didn't either. But the bottom line is, with the arm of Mesoraco, if you get the ball to the plate with any consistency under 1.4 seconds, the guy at second base is out a mile. The Reds pitching staff is pitching awfully well, but as far as holding on runners, they're not helping the catchers.
So Simon tries to get Garrett Jones here and put an end to the top of the 4th.
And I will say this, that's not something that you can change overnight.
Sure.
That takes a lot of work. And a slide step is not an easy thing to learn. It's not an easy thing to do. And for some guys, they'll never get it.
Simon on in relief of Bailey. The Red starter went 3, allowed 6 runs, all earned, 8 hits, walked 2, struck out 2. 8 hits, second most he's given up in the start this year. 6 runs equals what he did at Milwaukee back on the 8th of May in an 8-3 loss. He allowed 6 runs in that game. He was gunning for his 4th consecutive win. 3 in a row, which he brought into this game, had tied a career high for him. He had done it back in 2011, last year at the start of the year. He also closed out 2009 with 3 straight wins. Oh, Votto takes a hit and an RBI away from Garrett Jones and puts an end to the Pirate 4th inning. They leave a runner, have stranded 4, and lead by 4. Most wins in the 70s. Even racking our brains up here. We knew Tug McGraw.
We knew Bourbon.
We knew Pedro Bourbon. Mike Marshall. You talk about a rubber arm pitcher. Mike Marshall was 67. Those are the 3. And of course, by now you know that Pedro Bourbon passed away yesterday at the age of 65 due to cancer. Pedro, Reds Hall of Fame inductee. The last time that the Reds had the induction in 2010.
Well, I tell you what,
I'm leader in appearances.
I'm awfully glad that he got to experience the induction ceremony and being able to be honored by the Reds before his passing, because I know that going into that Hall of Fame meant the world to that man.
Pedro Bourbon, a member of the Big Red Machine, 75, 76. Some of the humorous stories you hear about Pedro. He was traded away in 79, and the story as it goes is that he put a voodoo curse on the Reds, saying you will never win again. And then when they went to him in 90, after the Reds were on their way to wire championship, they said, "Hey Pedro, what about the curse?" He said, "No, I took the curse off."
I'm not mad.
He was not mad. 10 years as a member of the Reds, 62 and 33 with a 3.32 ERA in his Reds career, 69 and 39 with a 3.52 in his overall big league career.
And you were talking about rubber arm Mike Marshall.
Right.
Pedro Bourbon would qualify.
Yeah, they called him the rubber armed reliever.
Hey, when the phone rang or when they asked him to pitch, he never said no.
I mentioned he was on the Big Red Machine teams. He's also on the National League pennant teams of 70 and 72. Again, he passed away yesterday at the age of 65. tribute to him before the game here. Moment of silence at the ballpark for the former Red, Pedro Borbon. Two and two now. Jay Bruce leading off here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Jay had a sacrifice fly his first time. Easy to follow, then Frazier. Reds have their work cut out for them. They led 2-0 at one point. Trail now 6-2, home fourth. And Bruce will get a look at a full count pitch.
I don't think I would take another close one if I was Jay. That pitch looked like it was right down Broadway. Started in and ran right back over the heart of the plate.
Bruce toward right. Garrett Jones measures it. Garrett has it. One out.
Out on the line.
Hey, Reds fans, come down to the Holy Grail tomorrow starting at 6 for the Reds fan cam. You could be featured on Reds Live by testing your Reds knowledge and winning some great prizes. Be part of the fun. That's tomorrow at 6 at the Holy Grail. Establishment that our man Jesse Jackson frequents quite often. Strike one to Heisey.
Well, Jay hit that ball right on the button. But when you hit it that hard and it's right at somebody, you'll get a whole lot for it.
Cued off the bat. Staying in front of it nicely down there is Haig. And A.J. Burnett gets over there and makes the play. It's a 3-1 putout. That could be tricky down there for the first baseman, Matt Haig.
Well, especially on a ball that's hit off the end of the bat. When it hits the ground, you never know what it's going to do. And Haig basically just corralled it as if he was a catcher. Kept it in front of him. Basically caught it with his stomach and both hands in the glove. And then just flips it on to Burnett, who was there to cover the bag.
So Burnett looks for his second consecutive perfect inning. Now retired 6 in a row. 10 of the last 11.
Down the first baseline. The perfect throw. Nice lead.
Got to get those feet out of the way in a hurry. You can see AJ doing that quick step out of there. Frazier with a base hit into left field. So a 2-out single puts him on for the first time. Gets the Reds their 4th hit.
That was a great swing there by Todd Frazier on a hard sinking fastball inside. Boy, he pulls his hands. Watch him pull his hands right in here and smoke the ball into left field. That's the best way you can do it. You get that right elbow, and it's almost as though you take your right elbow and drive it right into your hip or right along where the belt comes across your body, and then bring those hands right inside.
Now Mesoraco with 2 men out. We'll make a correction here in a moment as Mesoraco looks at this first pitch from Burnett. That's a foul ball. We're talking about going to the Holy Grail tomorrow starting at 6. That's actually Friday, not tomorrow, Wednesday, but rather Friday, June the 8th. Go to the Holy Grail beginning at 6. Be part of the Reds fan cam. Friday, 6 p.m. Holy Grail fan cam. All right.
Be there. Reds got to chip away here. And if you're Mesoraco here, you've got to make sure that Burnett gets the ball somewhere that you like it. Even with the pitcher standing in the on-deck circle, that doesn't necessarily mean that that guy is going to come to the plate.
J.J. Hoover you saw throwing in the bullpen, and in fact Mike Costanzo is in the on-deck circle. Mesoraco trying to keep this inning going. There's a look at Mike.
But if Mesoraco sees something he likes, swing hard, finish high.
They had that grand slam the last homestand against the Atlanta Braves, was the big blow in that victory over Freddie Gonzalez club. But his bat certainly cooled off in the month of May. Try to get him going again here in the early days of June. And he takes ball 4 on a 3-1 pitch. So after Bruce flies out, Heisey grounds out, Frazier singles, Mesoraco walks. So the end of the line for one. Alfredo Simon means only 1 inning worth of work, despite the Reds making that double change. Actually, they did not make the double change. Sorry. Here's Ray Searage now out of the dugout.
Searage doing nothing more than giving his pitcher a little breather here, giving him a little bit of scouting report on Costanzo. I think right now what Ray Searage wants to see from his right-hander is strikes in the strike zone. You've got a 4-run lead. The way you make that stand up is you get the ball in the zone, keep it down, make the opponent swing the bat. And from the Red standpoint, Jim, you got to like this. At least with 2 outs, you got a base hit and then a walk. And you've got to hope somehow, some way that Costanzo can come through.
Left-handed hitter has only made 2 starts. One as a DH in New York, the other at first base against this Pirates team. So far on the year, Costanzo 1 for 17 with 9 strikeouts and 0 for 12 with a sac fly as a pinch hitter. Trying to get it done here in a big swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Costanzo was 0 for 2 with a walk against A.J. Burnett over there. But remember, Jeff, he hit that ball, scalded it off the foot of Burnett in Pittsburgh. Ended up being a 1-6-3 out.
Burnett is turning it up a little bit, not only from the velocity standpoint, but elevating the fastball. Fastball up 94 miles an hour and right in the mitt.
On a breaking ball, he's down on strikes and then failed to run, and the ball was in the dirt. Finally does. He's thrown out 2-3. Inning comes to an end. We're through 4. Pirates in front. Food Group, creating great dishes together with the food service industry for over 30 years. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For over 30 Toyota offers available now, visit buyatoyota.com, including mobile, and by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible.
J.J. Hoover is the new pitcher for the Reds. Right-hander comes on. Hoover throwing that hard over the top heater. This will be his 14th ball game, 1-0 on the year. Part of that bullpen that leads the National League in ERA with 2.36 earned run average. It was even lower than that when the trip started. And second in strikeouts.
Well, he's in the 9-hole in the order, and so we would figure he's going to be out there for at least a couple of innings. He'll get the likes of Matt Haig, Casey McGee, and Rod Barajas. 5, 6, 7 in the Pirates order here in inning number 5. Haig a base hit his last time, a run scored on the 2-run single by Clint Barmas, has really been Pirates offensive star here tonight. Under that ball on the 0-1 delivery. Phillips gives way to Stubbs, out number 1. Really saw J.J. Hoover stumble for the first time this year with the Reds, Cowboy, on Saturday down in Houston.
And I think the big thing there, Jim, was just overthrowing, being in a situation where he felt like he had to strike out every batter. And when you come in as a closer, which is what he was when he came up, before he came up to the big leagues, at least that's what they were using him as in Louisville, he got that mentality. Now what he's got to go back to doing is pitching, and that's what he did when he was in the Atlanta Braves organization before the Reds picked him up. Use all your pitches, fastball, breaking ball, move them around. Don't try to see how hard you can light that radar gun up.
In the air by McGee. Bruce drifting, and that ball's going to leave the ballpark. That did not look like it was going to get out of here off the bat of Casey McGee, but that's exactly what it does. And McGee hits his first home run of the year.
That's the one thing about this ballpark. If you leave the ball up, and that ball was definitely up, you get a fly ball. Most places that would be a routine catch. That's why you have to pitch down here, and you have to change speeds, and you got to pitch inside.
Well, the first home run of the year for Casey McGee. His 2 RBIs in this game. He only had 6 on the season coming in. J.J. Hoover gives up his first. Well, between McGee and Barmas, they have 5 RBIs in this game. Both came in under 200.
And they are both dead red fastball hitters. Neither Barmas nor McGee are good breaking ball hitters in any way, fashion, or form.
7 unanswered now straight by the Pirates after the Reds had taken an early 2-0 lead. This is a team, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Dusty's watching the National League team that has the worst batting average in the league and the second worst in baseball. The worst on base percentage in the big leagues. They've scored the fewest runs and have the fewest hits in Major League Baseball. They put up 7 on 10 hits so far in this game.
Nice job, Mesoraco. What a heck of a hustle.
He retires his counterpart Barajas on that sliding catch.
Well, that is a big league play right there. Very, very difficult play because the ball is only in the air for a short amount of time. You come to it, you trap it right in between your mitt and your chest protector, and then you grab it with your hand. That's a heck of a play.
Now you may remember this. You don't see it much anymore, but way back when, that's how catchers were taught to make the catch of that pop-up with the glove open like that.
Well, they were taught to use the chest protector and the mitt in conjunction to catch the baseball.
But I guess really Johnny Bench was one of the innovators of saying no, I'm going to catch it just like a fielder.
Well, Johnny Bench had a different, well, didn't have a different type of glove, but the way he used his glove was almost as though Johnny could have played third base with the catcher's mitt that he had, the way that he broke it in. Same thing for other guys that are around now. It's the type of way that you break in your catcher's mitt, and if it's flexible enough to where you can move it around, then you can make the play with a snag and a catch.
They really changed, as you talk about it, that go into the pirate radio or TV booth?
It went right into the hand of Bob Walk, former baseball player for the pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
There's Bob and his partner Greg Brown.
For those of us that are former players, we don't shy away from those balls coming up this way.
And those of us who aren't former players do shy away.
I know.
Inning comes to an end. The Pirates add another run. Go to FoxSportsOhio.com and pick the first player that will get a base hit in the 8th inning. If you're not playing along, make sure you join us on FoxSportsOhio.com each Tuesday night throughout the season. Winners will be announced in tonight's postgame show. Again, if you're playing along with us tonight, go to FoxSportsOhio.com and pick the first player that will get a base hit in the 8th inning. Good luck. Reds bat, bottom of the 5th.
That'll be right around the time Votto, Phillips, and Bruce come to the plate.
Zach denied 1 out of 2. He had a infield hit that started the first, stole a base, scored on the single of the center by Joey Votto. Reds come into this game 30-23. Pittsburgh 27-26. It's conceivable, not probable, hopefully from a Red standpoint. These two teams could have identical marks when this series is over. But as we mentioned earlier, the Reds have been a good home team at 15-9. Pirates have not been an overly good team on the road at 11-15. Those are take strike 3. Out on strikes for the second time. Strike on number 6 for A.J. Burnett. Mentioned it earlier, but it bears repeating. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot worth $14 million. The drawing is at 11. That gives you now just under 2 hours. Mega Millions jackpot tonight, $14 million. Ohio Lottery. Stubbs has walked and grounded out. A.J. Burnett had that shaky first, Cowboy, but you talk a lot about being able to make adjustments. He appears to have done that.
Veteran pitcher. You got to get him before he gets in the groove. We saw that in Pittsburgh, and we're seeing it again here tonight. And it's actually taken him about 3 innings before he really has found the simple, nice, and easy mechanics getting the ball to home plate. That smooth 92-mile-an-hour delivery. When he gets on a point where he's like this, you have to go back to being aggressive.
Way up in the air, so much so that Barajas didn't see it. Boy, that thing just did come down on the fans' side, the stand side of the netting. I mean, that ball stuck in the netting back there on the fan side of things.
That looked like it was going to hit the top rope that holds the netting up. I mean, you know how much spin the ball has, and as a pitcher you see Burnett turn his back. They both, catcher and pitcher, hold their arms out like they don't know where the ball is. The pitcher is supposed to run to the catcher and run and point at the baseball.
We saw Barajas' reaction, and then I don't know if it was Burnett who pointed it to him or not, but then he immediately sprinted back.
Burnett was holding his hands out as well.
He didn't see it either.
Second baseman Neil Walker was pointing it out to him, I believe.
Stubbs draws the second walk of the night, issued by Burnett, both to Drew. Stubbs now has walked 18 times this year. Other than Joey Votto, that's the most on this club. His on base percentage creeping toward 300. You like to see that. Runner going. Sliced foul, Joey Votto.
Well, what a jump Drew Stubbs had there. My goodness.
What city was named one of the top 3 places to visit in 2012? Cincinnati. Book your weekend getaway at CincinnatiUSA.com.
Drew Stubbs was halfway to second base before the ball came out of the hand of A.J. Burnett. That's a good jump.
Now, for two teams who don't do a whole lot of base stealing, there have been 5 steals in this game already, and we are just at the midway point.
Well, part of that was from the Reds' lack of holding the runners on and giving Mesoraco at least a semblance of a chance to throw the runner out.
Drew going again. Votto swings and misses. Stubbs gets the steal. His 13th of the year. $40 of them last year for Stubbs, 13th of this year.
Well, a base hit here, at least you can cut into the 5-run deficit. Reds got a whole lot of cutting to do.
That had some late movement on it, and Votto is called out on strikes by Tim Cheetah.
Positive pitch sequence for Joey Votto facing the right-hander A.J. Burnett. A fastball, speed him up a little bit, try to slow him down with the curve, down and in. A curveball, swing over the top of it, and then that fastball there starts in at the hands of Votto. The key to that pitch is starting it as a ball, so the hitter does not react. They think it's going to stay inside. They're moving backwards, and then it tails right over the inside corner.
So 2 out for Phillips.
Great job of pitching by A.J. Burnett.
You saw when Votto was walking along the dugout there, Nick Massett in the Reds dugout. He has continued his rehab program. Nick said before the game down in the clubhouse that he's now throwing at 120 feet, stretching it out, feeling good. He has general soreness, not specific soreness, which he's happy about. And he was asked the question, which is inevitable, and that is, what about a timetable? He said, you know, I don't have one. I'm not on one. It's just a matter of getting through this, then throwing on flat ground as if I'm pitching, and then throwing simulated. And he said it's gonna take a while.
Yeah, there will be no timetable for Nick Massett until he can crow hop and throw a rocket on flat ground in the outfield, where he can just say, okay, I'm going to throw this as hard as I can in the outfield. Then the timetable can start. Well, that's that fastball that starts off the plate away and runs right back to the outside corner. Very similar to the pitch that he struck Votto out on.
Just as an aside on injured Reds pitchers, the other injured Reds hurler, the lefty Bill Bray, celebrating his 29th birthday today. Happy birthday, Bill. Phillips strikes out for the second time tonight. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Burnett, and now 8 of them in the game.
Things started out awfully hot for the Reds. You see Votto driving in. Cozart, a sacrifice fly, brings home Stubbs. And then it started. And boy, when the Pirates started, they came with a vengeance, and they are now up 10 hits, and it is 7-2.
Well, they've had big hits from Clint Barmas. An RBI double, a 2-run single, 2-run homer by Neil Walker, solo shot by Casey McGee. All totaled 7 runs, 10 hits. Only the 5th time they've scored 7 or more runs in a game this year. That's the lowest in the big leagues. Here they are with a 5-run advantage as A.J. Burnett bats here in the 6th inning against J.J. Hoover.
Well, as we said early in the ball game, the last time that the Pirates had a stretch where they won 8 out of 10 games, and if things stay the way they are right now, this will be one of those stretches as A.J. Burnett strikes out and knew it, turned around and heading to the dugout. This will be the first time that the Pirates have actually won 8 out of 10 ball games since May 6th to May 15th of 2008.
Well, a few years ago. Remember last year, Clint Hurdle's club got off to a decent start. They were right near the 500 mark, but under at the end of May last year. The All-Star break, they were 4 over. Then they got to 7 games over with a 1-0 win over the Reds on the 19th of July, just after the break. But then it really started to fall apart. They ended up 20 games under 500.
It was amazing how things happened for the Pirates. They made a trade, made a couple of trades actually, to try to help their club, and boy, it doesn't do anything but kill them.
Presley launches one to right. Bruce will climb the fence in vain, and another home run for the Pirates. Alex Presley goes deep, and the Pirates add to their advantage, and it's 8-2.
Alex Presley, very similar to the same type of hitter that Michael Bourne is. He likes the ball in close to him. You throw it in there, and he bangs it. Just because a guy is fast doesn't mean that you can't pitch him away and let him slap it the other way.
3rd home run of the year for Alex Presley, who just returned from AAA Indianapolis today. He's got a triple and a home run. A 6-run Pirate lead.
Presley, not a very good breaking ball hitter, not a good off-speed hitter, and doesn't like the ball away. And for some reason, the Reds are just really working him inside, and he is wearing them out.
Neil Walker launched a 2-run blast to center in the 3rd. 2 balls hit to right, one by McGee, and now this one by Presley, that off the bat didn't appear as if they were going to get out, but both went 3 or 4 rows up.
Well, I thought that one was out right off the bat.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the one by McGee a little different. But you get Presley out when you make him hit the ball the other way. He's grounded out to the shortstop and flied out to left center field.
Got their hitting shoes on, that's for sure. They've had 3 home runs in this game. They had 4 in their game Sunday against Milwaukee. So 7 home runs in their last couple of games after hitting only 1 in their previous 5 games. Of course, it's hard to hit home runs in their ballpark. You've talked about that earlier.
No doubt about it.
They came into this game with 43, 10th in the league, 16 less than the Reds.
But the biggest difference in this ball game right now has been location of pitches. A.J. Burnett has been down in the strike zone right around the knees the entire ball game except for the first inning. You stay down there, you get strikeouts like that. You pitch up, it's home runs.
Saturday on Baseball Night in America, interleague play returns as the Cleveland Indians head to St. Louis to take on the Cardinals. Both teams look to keep pace near the top of their respective divisions. Baseball Night in America telecast presented by Budweiser begins Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern and only on Fox. Reds won't be taking on the Cardinals anytime soon, but they certainly will be battling that Indians team a lot here coming up in the month of June. They'll host them at the end of this homestand, 12th, 13th, 14th of June, and then turn around and go to Cleveland as part of that next road trip, which will take them to New York. 3 games at the Mets, and 3 at Cleveland.
Quite a bit of interleague play coming our way.
Prince Fielder will make his return here come Friday night.
Tigers coming to town.
It's a Friday night game, a Saturday late afternoon game, and then a Sunday night game. It's a little different than what is normal. Saturday game against the Pirates starts at 4:10, and then the Sunday night game at 8:05. That's the Sunday night game of the week. Prince Fielder, who's had no difficulties going from the National League to the American League. Done a great job for that Detroit club, defending AL Central champs. The Tiger club starts the day in third behind the White Sox and the Indians, and they are 4 games under 500 as of right now. Frazier, inning over. Home run interrupted, a 1-2-3 inning for J.J. Hoover. Reds bat, bottom of the 6th. Reds game. Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the contest. Talk Dusty Baker, the manager of the Reds, and the players on Reds Live postgame, brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. And Kent Dreamweaver, the producer, Jim Day, our postgame host. Tonight we'll have a special look at the second day of the first-year player draft, including a visit with Chris Buckley, Senior Director of Amateur Scouting for the Reds, in effect in charge of the Reds first-year player draft every year. Second day completed earlier, and there'll be one more day tomorrow. Reds took 12 more players today. No one of local interest. So they've taken 15 so far, and then the draft will conclude tomorrow. Remember, this year there's only about a month until the players have to say yay or nay, they're going to sign them or not. In effect, the teams have a month or so to sign them. It used to be August, and before that it used to just go on for a long time, but now it's been cut down, with the idea being it helps the player, it helps the team, it helps the colleges. You're going to go and sign professionally and start in, or you're not.
Well, there's going to be a D-Day either way, decision day.
Right.
And it could be the first day of reporting day for your school, first day that classes start has been for juniors, and for high schoolers has been usually the date that they have to sign by. You enroll in school, it's over. But now they have created this date, this final time, and I think it's great.
Yeah, it really does help everyone, doesn't it?
Well, the bottom line is now they've got all of the slots in as far as the money goes for the most part. There are some factors that enter in as far as paying more than that, and penalties, of course, go with that, just like they do in the salaries in the big leagues.
Another big thing that changed this year as Bruce walks to start the inning is that no longer can you sign a drafted player to a major league contract.
Well, I think what has happened is they are trying to not let this turn into a position where a player that has never put on a big league uniform having all of
the leverage.
The leverage, yes. Thank you. I was trying to find the word there.
Not only put on a big league uniform, never put on a professional uniform.
Right. And this game is so different than any other sport. You can almost count them on your hands as far as how many players have ever come to the big leagues without a day in the minor leagues. Matter of fact, the Reds have one right now in Mike Leake.
Yeah, he didn't spend any time initially, and then last year went down for a very short period of time. I think he made, what, 2 or 3 appearances down there.
Then came back and was lights out. Reds are getting A.J. Burnett close to that 100 pitch mark. And you would like to believe that somehow, some way, that you might be able to knock on that door for at least a little bit of a comeback rally here.
Burnett threw 103 pitches in 7 innings in Pittsburgh last Wednesday against the Reds, and now he is at 98. Season high 106.
Burnett, for the most part in this ball game, as we said earlier, he has been down, down, down. As that ball misses a little bit off the plate away. The one thing that we've seen with Burnett is he has been right here as far as the pitches go. Most of the Reds pitches have been on the top of that catcher's mitt. When you do that, when you pitch to the bottom of the catcher's mitt, it is so much easier to make quality pitches.
That's going to fall for a hit and allow the runner to chase over to third. Bruce was moving on that pitch. That's first and third.
And an elevated pitch there that Heisey is just able to lift out into the outfield. If that ball is down, very difficult to get there. Watch where the pitch is here. You can see that ball is just above the line that I drew to the top of the mitt. And when you're looking in as a pitcher, you want to look to the bottom of the catcher's mitt. That's where you want to throw to. And if you're hitting that spot, as we've seen A.J. Burnett do for the majority of this game, you're going to put up some pretty good numbers. See exactly where this is with the Fox tracks coming in. Well, folks, that's right down Broadway. And right down Broadway doesn't get it done.
You saw Clint Hurdle on the phone. Now you see Clint Hurdle out of the dugout and make the call to the bullpen. So the Pirates will make a change here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So A.J. Burnett, who went 7 strong against the Reds 6 days ago, goes 5 and 2 batters in this game here in Cincinnati. And so our skyline call to the bullpen means a pitching change for the Pirates here in the home 6th. Reds with the MLB.com @Bat 12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @Bat to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details.
New pitcher taking over for that man, A.J. Burnett, is going to be Chris Resop. I'll tell you right now, that guy's not real happy. He didn't want to come out of the ballgame. But now the Reds have got a chance to make a little hay here with runners at first and third. Nobody out. They've had this situation before. But Resop coming into the ballgame. You see that number down there, the 7 of 8 inherited runners. That means runners that have been on don't score when he comes in the game.
He gets Frazier first, and he'll send McCutchen to the track, and McCutchen runs it down. Tagging is Bruce. He will score, and it's now an 8-3 game. Sacrifice fly for Frazier, his 15th RBI.
Hit it hard, ran him all the way to the wall, but not quite.
Jay Bruce safe at home, safe and secure.
New York line.
So a walk, a hit, a pitching change, and a sac fly. Reds still down by 5. Devin Mesoraco.
Reds need to string some hits together. And let's face it, every bullpen is susceptible, even the Reds. We saw that in Houston. But you've got to put together some quality at bats, and that means seeing pitches.
That run, by the way, is charged to Burnett. He goes 5 innings plus 2 batters, meaning it's the second shortest outing of the year for him. His shortest being that 2 2/3 12-run, 12-hit debacle at St. Louis on the 2nd of May. On the infield. For a moment, there looked to be some confusion there, but McGee handles it.
Resop came into this ball game 0-2 with a 3.91 earned run average in 21 appearances.
Now Ludwig will bat for Hoover, meaning the Reds will employ a 4th pitcher come the 7th inning.
Well, Dusty is trying to do anything he can to see if he can light a fire in that dugout for the Reds. You get down by 5 or 6 runs early in a ball game, take a lot of life out of you, and Dusty's trying to add some life with a possible home run here.
Ludwig pinch hits. He's 2 for 8 with a pinch hit 3-run homer to his credit this year. Hitting .207 overall, 6 home runs, 21 runs batted in. The pinch hit home run came against the Rockies back on the 26th in that home run crazed series. A.J. Burnett could still be the winner in this game for the Pirates. He, like Bailey, came in having won 3 in a row. In fact, the team, the Pirates, had won each of his last 5 starts. Reds trying to change that around a little bit. They have some work to do from an offensive standpoint.
This is the point in time where we talked about earlier as the game began. The home runs, they're all fine and good, but right now the Reds need base runners.
Former Pirate jammed on that pitch, fought it off, stays alive.
You put some base runners aboard, you start to create yourself a little momentum for your club and throughout the stands. You get the fans back into the ball game and you put the pressure back on the Pirates instead of letting them just cruise along and have the momentum that they have had really since they put the runs on the board in the second inning.
Reesop, the former Marlin, former Angel, former Brave. Third different year with the Pirates, and he gets Ludwig to strike out on the pitch. 9 strikeouts now by Pittsburgh pitching in this game. At half price. Don't miss the Drew Stubbs diecast toy car giveaway as well, thanks to Tri-State Chevy dealers. For tickets to see the Reds and the Tigers this coming Sunday night, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or go to Reds.com. New pitcher on for the Reds, Jose Arredondo.
Arredondo comes on for the 25th time this year. You see that opponent's batting average of 150. That is mostly because of his tremendous effectiveness against left-handed batters.
Right off the top of the dirt, Kozar takes a hit away from Garrett Jones.
That ball appeared to start to roll up his arm, and he had to snag it on his side with his bare hand. Check this out. The dive, the ball looks like it's starting to come out. Oh, no, sir, I got it. I got it. I got it.
Everything under control out there at the old 6 spot.
Silky smooth, number 2.
Here's Matt Haig with 1 out. Homer Bailey went 3, allowed 6 runs, 8 hits. Alfredo Simon, 1 inning, no runs, a hit. J.J. Hoover went 2, allowed 2 solo home runs. Now Jose Arredondo.
You can pretty much watch every pitch that comes to home plate. Balls that are above the catcher's mitt normally get hit very hard. Those that are either even with the mitt or right at the bottom of the catcher's mitt, they either miss or they hit it into the ground. Pretty good split finger to a right-hander for a strike. Now all he's got to do is make it bounce right on top of the plate. Don't throw that same one.
Chased that one, did Haig. He strikes out. He's 1 for 4 on the night. The first 2 have gone down here in the 7th. The Pirates have not gone down in order yet tonight.
Split finger starts away. You drop it right on top of the plate. The reason that you do that is because the pitch before was elevated and it was a strike. In the back of the hitter's mind, he's going to see the same spin, the same arm action, the same pitch, and think, okay, that's going to be a strike again. I've got to make contact. And then the bottom falls out of it and lands in the dirt.
McGee's had a good night tonight. First pitch swinging here, and the Gold Glover makes the catch down the right field line. Nicely done by Votto. In order to go the Pirates for the first time tonight. Stars battle for home field advantage in the World Series. It's the road to the World Series. Begins with the 2012 MLB All-Star Game. That's Tuesday, July the 10th at 7:30 Eastern Time, and only on Fox. That is just over a month away. How about All-Star potential as far as the Reds are concerned?
Well, if you're casting a ballot, you definitely need to cast it at least for these 3 from the Reds' perspective. You know you're going to vote for Joey Votto, but the other 2 are just as deserving, especially the one that's in the middle there. And for Dan Uggla to be 300 and something thousand votes ahead of Brandon Phillips, that ought to be a crime.
He may have better offensive numbers, but he is not in the same league as Brandon Phillips in terms of leather. So we'll see how it all shakes down in the next 3 weeks.
Yes, we will.
First full inning of work for Chris Resop, the right-hander, working here in the bottom of the 7th. Cozart to lead it off. Hard up the middle, and another hit for Zach.
Well, let's see if the Reds can start their 7th run rally. good a time as any, wouldn't you say?
I would agree 100%.
Watch where this pitch is in relation to the catcher's mitt. Just a bit above it. He taps it right back up the middle.
So how about Cozart? 2 hits on Saturday down in Houston, 2 more on Sunday, 2 today. So 3 straight 2-hit games for Zach Cozart. Started the day at 240. He's on to get the 7th inning going. Now it's Stubbs. Big day for Stubbs on Saturday in that 12-9 win. He was one of 5 or 6 Texans on the team that was playing in their home state. Drew went 3 for 5 with a 3-run homer and 4 RBIs total in that game.
Pretty good curveball there by the right-hander Risa. That pitch is a strike whether you swing or not. Now you got to battle a little bit if you're Drew Stubbs. Tried to come back with the same pitch and he hung it.
$19,906 here tonight at Great American Ballpark, plus another 5,400 Kid Glove tickets. So in excess now of 25,000 here at the ballpark tonight, thanks to the Kid Glove folks. 4th of 5 Kid Glove games this year. Kid Glove promotion now in its 64th consecutive season. How about that? 64th consecutive season. They'll have another one here tomorrow. The program has helped raise more than $300,000 to buy baseball and softball equipment for more than 40,000 youngsters here in the greater Cincinnati area. Quite a program.
Amazing.
And as he said, another one tomorrow night.
Good job again by Stubbs. He was down in the hole 0-2, and now he's fouled off a couple of pretty good pitches by the right-hander Risa. You look at this game, Jim, and it's the first game of the series. You want to get as deep in that bullpen of the Pirates as you can get.
Well, the Pirates have achieved that with the Reds. Reds want to return the favor. Swung at a bad ball out of the zone, and Drew strikes out for the first time tonight. First out of the bottom of the 7th.
Fastball up, and it looks awfully enticing. You can see that's exactly where Barajas wanted the ball. He wanted the fastball elevated, and that's exactly what he got. Whenever you let the ball ride up as a pitcher, you want the ball to be above the hands of the hitter. If it's below, you could have a problem.
Well, now here's Votto. RBI single back in the first, 1 for 3 tonight. His hitting streak still alive at 11 games. He's equaled Jay Bruce's for the longest of the Reds this year at 11.
Not nearly the same type of shift that we saw on Joey earlier in the ball game with nobody aboard.
Yeah, this is very tame right now. Barely at all, in fact. Joey had just a tremendous road trip. 7 out of 10 down in Houston. 10 of 19 on the 6-game trip. 10-game hitting streak coming into the night, where he was hitting .576 during those 10 games. As you like to say, Cowboy, smoke it.
Smoke it. Woo! He was trying to hit that one to the stacks. He's trying to win somebody a Toyota.
We could stand for that. Saw his vote total. He's way out in front. National League first baseman. Deservedly so.
As far as the All-Star ballot.
Correct.
You can see Resop. He is really staying away from Votto.
Joey draws the walk. 5th given to the Reds tonight. So now there's 2 on with 1 out for Brandon Phillips. Hey, mark your calendars for June the 12th through the 14th. Get out to Great American Ballpark to cheer on the Reds as they take on the Cleveland Indians, presented by the Ohio Lottery. Governor's Cup battle, if you will. Wednesday the 13th, arrive early and be one of the first 10,000 through the gates. Receive a Brandon Phillips Louisville Slugger Silver Slugger mini bat. Tickets to see the Reds battle the Indians the 12th through the 14th of June. Call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or go to Reds.com. Again, that's the first 10,000 fans through the gates on Wednesday the 13th. Get the Brandon Phillips Louisville Slugger Silver Slugger mini bat. Mouthful right there.
I like those bats, but I'm going to have to let my children play with them under my supervision. They might work each other over.
You never know what might happen, right?
Rat-a-tat-tat. Speaking of rat-a-tat-tat, it's time for the Reds to do that.
Something big here from Brandon, and they're right back in this game. Trailing now at 8-3 here in the home 7th.
Tony Watson, the left-hander, warming up most likely for Jay Bruce in case Phillips puts something together here. Well, you see the pitches that Votto got, not anything close. First pitch to Phillips was right down Broadway.
Single by Cozart started the inning. Stubbs struck out. Votto drew the walk. 2 on, 1 out. Phillips trying to come through here with runners in scoring position.
For a while there, it seemed as though Brandon was starting to click a little bit as far as the offense goes. But you can pretty much be assured as the season goes along and Votto keeps swinging the bat as hot as he has been, even in a cooling off period, Joey's still smoldering.
Third time in a row that Phillips has gone down on strikes. It's 11 of them now for Pirate pitching. This inning rests now on the shoulders of Jay Bruce.
Hanging curveball, and Phillips knew it and can't believe he missed it.
So now with 2 out, it's Jay. 0 for 1 with a sac fly and a walk and a run scored to his credit.
But if you saw that swing there of Brandon Phillips, it appeared as though he was trying to hit that ball to the moon. Reds don't need home runs right now. They need some base hits to put some pressure on these Pirates. You get a home run right now, it's a rally killer, and it's only going to give you 3 runs. I'm not saying that wouldn't be good, but in the grand scheme of things, you're better off scoring a couple of runs now, then you hit the home run to close the door. Jay really trying to shoot that ball into that left center field gap. You can see the adjustments that Jay is trying to make. And when you can actually see a hitter trying to make that adjustment, I think he's on his way.
Heisey's on deck. Reds trying to get Bruce going in the scoring position column. Phillips at 295 in that category. He struck out. Bruce is hitting 180 runners in scoring position on the year. Looking for something big here. Now he's 1 away from joining Cozart and Votto on the bases.
Risa pitching Jay Bruce very similar to what we saw with Votto. A lot of pitches running off and away from Jay Bruce.
Another one.
Same result. Well, they're trying to let the Reds get back in it, but the Reds have got to have a hit to make it hurt.
So hitting 2 walks in the inning with 2 strikeouts thrown in there. Here's an opportunity. Bases loaded, 2 out. Heisey at the plate. Chris this year 1 for 3 with the bases loaded. Another one who has seen his average with runners in scoring position come around. He's sitting at 294.
Ray Searage is going to come out, and if nothing more than to give a little chat to Mr. Risa. And Risa did not appear to like what's going on right now. But the thing about it, the Reds have got to put a hit together in these kinds of situations, or any pitcher is going to pitch around Joey Votto and Jay Bruce, or pitch around Brandon Phillips. Whoever is hot at the moment, that's what they're going to do, unless you can make them pay for it. Because in this day and age of TV and radio and instant replay and all of those things, everybody gets to see you perform.
Heisey with them loaded and 2 out here in the 7th. Boy, it just looked like he was simply trying to get out of the way there.
Well, he had his full upper body going towards the plate, and the ball ran up and in. It's tough to get out of the way. Ball hits the bat, puts him in the hole right off the break.
Singled in the left his last time. He's 1 for 3.
Now that one was right down broad, but
now he's in the hole. 2 strikes. Reds leave them loaded here in the bottom of the 7th, and have stranded 7 on the night. Pediatric Specialties in U.S. News and World Report's 2011 Best Children's Hospitals, and by the dependable, long-lasting Chevy Silverado and your tri-state Chevy dealers. Josh Harrison down in the dugout, former UC Bearcat, former Princeton High School player. His old school involved in a pregame ceremony on the field. There you see him recognizing many of his old teammates. They were recognized prior to the game. That 2005 team that reached the Ohio State semifinals. Josh was a member of that club. The event here tonight included a charitable donation to the Princeton Education Foundation on behalf of the group tickets sold here at the ball game tonight. Josh Harrison reveling just 7 years ago in their Ohio State semifinal visit. Now here he is, a big leaguer. Heisey will track that ball down, hit hard by Rod Barajas. So one pitch from Arredondo, 1 out, 8th inning. Four face, 4 set down by Arredondo. Had to feel great, Cowboy, for Harrison down there, seeing his old team.
Any time that you play on a club that is a championship club or that goes into the finals or semifinals, whatever it may be, where you really bonded with a lot of the guys and you had a chance to do some fun things, that always holds a great memory in your mind. And just, you know, seeing some of the young kids that are playing there today, and you're in the big leagues, that's where they want to be one day.
Kind of inspiring, isn't it?
It really is.
Barmas 2 out of 3, been a big part of the Pirate offense here tonight. Harrison, in fact, is on deck.
You always want to take the opportunity to give back to the folks that help you get where you are now.
No question.
Too many times those guys forget where they came from. Boy, you can really see Barmas lunging at the split finger. The inability for Barmas to hit the breaking ball, that is why he is not an everyday shortstop, because he can pick it a little bit and he can hit the fastball.
Pirates trying to get off to a good start in this series. They mentioned, as we said earlier, 1-2 out of 3 at Milwaukee, the start of this road trip. Foul ball. And they've won 3 consecutive series. Season best for them. They're trying to get to 2 over, which would be a high water mark for them this year.
Well, they are doing it in the same manner and fashion as the Reds. Quality pitching, and they've hit just enough when they've needed to. Well, this guy's waiting on a fastball. It doesn't matter what the count is. When he wakes up in the morning, he's looking fastball.
So he's 3 for 4. Clint Barmas came in at a paltry 176. Now Josh Harrison gets a good hand from his Princeton High folks. A big group at the ballpark tonight. There, those Pirate people, Princeton Pirates. I mean, the jerseys say that. I know they're not the Pirates.
They are putting on the chant for Josh Harrison.
Harrison will bat for Chris Resop. Tony Watson, a lefty, has been up and throwing in the Pirate bullpen. So that big group of Princeton High folks get to watch Harrison play tonight. Worked out well.
Ooh.
Harrison checks in at .235, a homer and 8 driven in, 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter. Stubbs chasing. He'll get to the spot. Right at the edge of the track. Hauls it in for out number 2. Cincinnati native gave that ball a pretty good jolt.
Gave it a little ride.
Top of the order now, and Alex Presley. Good return to the big leagues for this young man tonight. Triple and a home run. After playing 3 weeks down at AAA Indianapolis.
Well, that's a solid pitcher's pitch right there, right at the bottom of the strike zone, especially at 1-0.
That was below that line you drew earlier.
Right on the money.
Reds in their half of the 8th against Watson. We'll have the bottom of the order. Frazier, Mesoraco, and a pinch hitter for Arredondo. Jose trying to keep it a 5-run deficit. Again, the middle game of this series comes up here tomorrow night, 7:10. Johnny Cueto against Brad Lincoln will be making just his 2nd start of the year. Starter, as we talk about a lot throughout his minor league career. This year, been working out of the Pirate bullpen, former #1 pick. He'll be the starter here tomorrow night. That means 6:30 with Reds Live. Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro. There's a look at the matchup. Johnny going through a little bit of a rough patch as of late, isn't he? Nicely done by Arredondo as he gets the strikeout. And he has 2 shutout innings under his belt. So we'll head to the bottom of the 8th. Sitting at $14 million, 1-4, $14 million. The drawing is at 11 That is 50-odd minutes from now. Your chance at $14 million via the Ohio Lottery.
New pitcher for the Pirates. He'll be the third one on the night after A.J. Burnett started. Chris Reesop. It'll be Tony Watson. Be on for his 24th ball game. As you see, 3-0 on the year, a 3.86 earned run average. Only 16 1/3 innings in those 23 ball games, because most of the time when Tony Watson is coming in, he's facing left-handers only. So we'll see how he does facing a couple of right-handers.
27-year-old native of Sioux City, Iowa, into the game here to face Frazier to get the bottom of the 8th started. Played collegiately as a Corn Husker, University of Nebraska. And he gets Frazier to start the 8th. Todd 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. Reds will need a new pitcher in the 9th inning. Pitcher spot due up 3rd here in the bottom of the 8th. And there's Marshall, big lefty, ready to work the top of the 9th. Popped up, and that will get out of play.
It appeared that Watson turned that one over a little bit, an off-speed pitch, and he had Frazier well out in front of the changeup. You can see when the front of the body is well out over the front leg and the bat is extended as far as it can go with one hand, you've been fooled.
Carrying to right field. Did he get enough? He did not. It sounded like he broke his bat, didn't it, Cowboy?
Tell you what, I thought when he came off the bat, he had a chance for a home run. He must have hit that off the end of the bat for it not to get out. Oh, he got it down the bat. He hit it off the label. You're exactly right.
A bid for number 7 falls short for Todd Frazier. Here's Mesoraco. Wilson Valdez emerges from the dugout. He'll bat for Arredondo. Devin tonight 0 for 2 with a walk. Hit one ball hard. That was back in the 2nd. Lined it at the center fielder McCutcheon. Those averages dip under the 200 mark.
Well, once you use Ludwig or Heisey off the bench, your home run threats have disappeared. I would imagine as the Reds go along, especially after the All-Star break, either from within or from trades as you get closer to that July 31st deadline, that'll be one thing the Reds will be shoring up for sure, is the bench.
Well, it appears to make sense, particularly if you're going to be in the race, as you said.
Right. You're in first place by 3 games coming into tonight.
Interesting that Valdez was on deck, and now he has gone back into the dugout, and Miguel Cairo has come into the on-deck circle. Remember, Valdez went up there inadvertently, or Dusty decided to make a change late. Evan walks. 7 walks now by Pirate pitching tonight. The Reds really have not been able to take advantage of that. Yes, 2 of the walks have scored, but they've not had a big inning.
Well, the Reds have not had 2 hits in 1 inning except for the first inning where they scored 2 runs. Every other inning, they've had one hit, and that's it.
So here's Miguel Cairo hitting 135. 2 RBIs. He's 3 for 9 as a pinch hitter. We just have not seen the same offensive Cairo this year that we saw both in 2010 and last year.
And a lot of it is playing time. He was injured, had to go on a rehab assignment, has not been the same since.
He went 1 for 9 on the recent road trip. He's 1 for his last 20 as he stands at the plate here. Down 2 strikes in the bottom of the 8th.
Miguel Cairo has made a living doing the most difficult job in baseball. That's coming off the bench, cold as ice, trying to get a base hit. Normally against somebody throwing about 95 plus.
And a great job over the last couple of years, filling in at second, filling in at first, filling in at third. He was injured very early on. In fact, that first road trip of the year at Washington, he was pulled up with a hamstring strain scoring. Varmus turns that nicely, and the Pirates get a double play. 6-4-3. First twin killing of the night. Some 4 years. 27th of May 2008. Jay Bruce in his big league debut against these Pirates. He went 3 for 3 that night. Had a double, drove in a couple of runs, scored a couple of runs. That was back on the day when the Pirates wore the sleeveless uniforms. And how about that? The shaving cream pie, as Jay talks with, I believe that was our man, Jeff Picoro. Miller time moment. Wilson Valdez takes over in center field for the Reds. Sean Marshall, the new man on the mound.
Sean Marshall coming on, if nothing more than just to get an inning of work. This will be his 24th ball game. Started out the season as the closer for this club. But the biggest numbers for Marshall there in those 19 2/3 innings, he has struck out 28 batters and only walked 5.
He'll get Neil Walker to turn around and bat from average-wise his better side. He's hitting 300 from this side of the plate, 250 batting left, although he has gone 2 for 4 tonight. then Andrew McCutchen, then Garrett Jones. Pirates up by 5 at 8-3. Straight changes, by the way, for the Reds. Valdez in the 2 spot, Marshall in the 9 spot.
You notice when we showed you Jay Bruce's first day in the big leagues that he got 3 hits. The first 2 hits he got were both to left field, staying inside the ball, shooting the ball the other way.
Very observant Cowboy.
Makes the pitcher say, okay, well, if he's going to shoot the ball the other way, then I'm going to come in. And what did he do? Doubled over the right fielder's head.
Take a look here. I don't know that Valdez has played any center field at all this year.
I would say you are right on the money.
We saw him play it in spring training, and he did a nice job. Phillips on that one-hop smash makes the play and throws Neil Walker out. I thought he did a nice job out there in spring training. Did you agree?
Yeah, I don't doubt any place that this young man can play defensively. He can play shortstop. He can play center field. When you can do that, you can play anywhere.
Our stat man extraordinaire, Joel Luckup, says second career game for Valdez ever playing center, so his first as a Red.
I would imagine the other came as a Philly, huh?
Joel's checking that right now. Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Tell you what, we don't get that kind of stat service when we go to Pittsburgh.
Or Houston.
We need to have our man
or
there.
Houston.
Joel has a computer, you know.
Joel doesn't need that computer. He's got a BRAIN.
The computer's simply a backup for him, Cowboy.
He just knows how to do it.
McCutchen tonight, 1 out of 4. Again, it's really not been McCutchen this year that has hurt the Reds. 1 for 4 tonight puts him at 4 for 18 against the Reds this season. But his surrounding and supporting cast got him.
Offensively this year for McCutchen, it has not been nearly as good as it has been in the past for the Reds. As you see that Yellowhammer come in there from Sean Marshall, boy, that baby just drops off the table. But the thing that McCutchen has done is the fact that he has killed the Reds with his defensive prowess. He has made some plays that most center fielders would never get to, and he's made some throws that have been timely and right on the money.
You know, the Pirates waited probably certainly longer than their fans wanted, and probably longer than McCutchen wanted himself, to bring him up to the big leagues.
They had Neil McLouth in front of him, who was having a career. He was having a career right there.
But it's paid off.
Phenomenal. Oh yeah.
Wouldn't you agree?
No doubt.
It's really paid off.
No doubt. And I would bet that McCutchen would tell you that that extra time in the minor leagues not only humbled him, but made him appreciate it even more when he got to this level.
Frazier. Down go the Pirates in order in the 9th. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. Reds down 8-3. John Merrill hot dog play of the game. Let's go back, 13 years. June the 5th, 1999. That's El Duque. Orlando Hernandez. Can't get the ball out of the glove. Just throw the whole darn thing, Cowboy. You probably did that once or twice in your career.
If it gets stuck in the webbing and you can't get it out, throw the whole thing over there. Especially
That's exactly what he did.
Especially when it's a new glove. I watched Terry Mulholland do that one year with the Phillies. He had no choice. The ball got stuck in there. You got to do something. You don't want to just let a guy have a base hit on a ball right back to you.
You got to be quick on your feet to do that.
No doubt.
Think fast.
New pitcher for the Pirates as the Reds come up for the last time here tonight, with a chance to try to either tie this thing up or go ahead. It'll be Juan Cruz for the 23rd time this year. Cruz, a right-hander, and he will go to work. And go to work with a starting right off the bat. Back to the top of the order with Zach Kozar.
Then Valdez, then Votto. Stubbs left the game. I don't believe that he is injured, although we do not know that for sure.
I would bet it is nothing more than give him a little rest. Especially in a 5-run deficit ball game. Not too many times you see Stubbs out of any game.
That's a 3-hit performance tonight by Zach Kozar. Good speed by McCutchen to cut that ball off.
Now see, that's the kind of speed that I'm talking about, how McCutchen has really done his damage against the Reds here in 2012. This ball is an absolute rocket, and as it hits the ground, it scoots a little bit and looks as though it's going to go away from McCutchen, and he just shifts it into high gear and cuts it off.
So a 3-hit night for Zach Kozar gives the Reds their 7th hit. And here's Valdez batting for the first time. He's at 170. Wilson Valdez really has had the least amount of playing time as anyone on this Reds team this year. Working against the former Cub, former Brave, former Athletic, former Diamondback, former Royal, former Ray, Juan Cruz. Cruz played for Dusty Baker back in 2003 as a member of the Cubs. That year he went 2-7 with a 6.05 earned run average. He's 33 years old now. He's from the Dominican. Last year, pretty good year for Tampa Bay. Pirates signed him as a free agent early February.
Cruz has always had that good fastball. It's just a matter of something to go with it.
Nicely done there. Hitting the other way by Wilson Valdez. Sends Kozar down to second. 2 on with nobody out.
Nothing better for the Reds than to finish on a high note. Another elevated pitch. When you see the mitt go up, you usually see the baseball go out, and it does in line drive fashion.
Well, here they are now, down 8-3 with 2 on, nobody out, and Votto at the plate. Joey 1 for 3 with a walk, but on twice.
As you say in the dugout, keep the merry-go-round going.
Votto's only faced Cruz one other time in his career. That was a strikeout. here quickly falls behind 2 strikes.
Hanrahan, the closer for the Pirates, has begun to toss in the Pirate bullpen just in case things start to get a little crazy.
That would probably mean one more batter.
Correct.
Inside outing, that ball down into the left field corner. It's a foul by Votto. Well, he was eaten up on that pitch and almost turned it into a double.
This tells you how good Joey Votto is, by the way, that he can change his swing in mid-motion. Watch this swing here. Ball down and in, drops the head of the bat, and just pushes the ball the other way. A slight draw into the far green and spin it back towards the hole.
Speaking of golf, I understand that congratulations are in order for you and your team yesterday out at the Joe Nuxall Miracle Fields golf tournament, right?
Well,
you won.
The young lady that carried me is from Lakota West High School. She went to Western Carolina. Her first name is Rachel. Her father's name is Tim. I believe their last name is either Wilson or Nelson. But she carried our team.
I heard that she did a great job.
She was the MVP. Or MVG, I guess I should say. Most valuable golfer and player. But we had a couple of guys that could putt really good. We had a great A player in Rachel. Her father was awfully good as well. And we had a celebrity that was terrible. That would be me.
You weren't on your A game yesterday then?
No, didn't quite have it.
Well, Cowboy, you can't be on top of your game every time out on the course.
There's no doubt about that.
But you went out there for a good cause, helped them raise a bunch of money out there.
Well, anytime that you've got a golf tournament with Joe Nuxall's name on it, you're going to raise some money. And it's for a great cause, and they do a lot of great things with that, putting scholarships in kids' hands.
You're talking, of course, about the Joe Nuxall Memorial Scholarship Fund, of which all the proceeds go to.
Yeah, the new golf pro out at Hamilton Elks is a Mississippi State grad. I met him yesterday. Pretty cool.
A little confusion here between Barajas and Cruz.
Well, this is what you want. This is exactly what you want to have happen as you apply some additional pressure, some additional push to try to get some runs across the board. You would just rather this happen in the 5th or 6th inning rather than the bottom of the 9th. Oh, no. Watch where this pitch is. Right at the leg of Votto. And you can see on the Fox tracks that Cruz is all over the place. You didn't see him doing all this stuff when anybody else is up there, but now that Joey's up there, his nerves are shaking.
Cracked in the right by Votto. Cut off on the warning track out there by Garrett Jones. Ends up being a long single. But Cozart scores and Valdez ends up at third. and it's 8-4.
Now what you have for the Reds is you are within slam reach. And Joey Votto takes an inside fastball and turns it around. Actually, that looked like a breaking ball. It appeared to be, but it was high and hanging and went out of there about twice as fast as it came in. And Juan Cruz has faced his last batter here tonight.
He faces 3. And he's going to be out. He gives up 3 hits. Gives the ball to Clint Hurdle. Here comes their closer, Joel Hanrahan, in a save situation in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, the closer is on for the Pirates. Runners at first and third base. The tying run is in the on-deck circle in this 8-4 ball game. It'll be Joel Hanrahan. Has given up 1 run in 10 1/3 inning since he blew his lone save on May 8th. He has 14 saves on the year. Got his 14th in Milwaukee on Sunday, and has converted his last 9 save opportunities.
Well, Phillips up there with runners at the corners and nobody out. Brandon had a big at bat in the 7th and struck out. 0 for 4 tonight. He's not had much success against the Pirates this year. How is he against Hanrahan? Phillips in his career 4 of 12 with a home run against Hanrahan. There you see the numbers.
Well, Phillips had a rough at bat in the 1st and the 7th inning.
Pirates have defeated the Reds this year 3 times, and Hanrahan has saved all 3 games. He's given the Reds no runs, 2 hits in 2 1/3 innings worth of work against them this year. Wouldn't this be something if the Reds could come back and win this game? The Cardinals are trailing in Houston 8-4 in the 7th. Reds down here 8-4. 2 on, nobody out, a run home, bottom of the 9th.
Well, you've got no outs here, but you got to keep the merry-go-round going. Another breaking ball down in the dirt. He got Brandon Phillips to chase once, but Phillips not chasing there.
Bruce waits on deck.
Phillips had runners aboard in the 1st inning and popped out. Runners aboard in the 5th and struck out. Same in the 7th.
Slicing this ball into the right field corner. That's going to get into the seats. Garrett Jones Gave it a long run.
Phillips really gets inside of the baseball. And I believe he could tell right away it was going to slice foul.
Down the right field line again this time, and that ball is just foul.
Boy, did you see the reaction of Billy Hatcher at first base? That had to be awfully, awfully close. He had squatted down and was ready for that baby to jump up and wave Phillips around for some extra bases.
Phillips, with that defensive swing, almost had himself a two-base hit.
That's right.
Protecting the dish at 2-2. Struck him out. Phillips fans for the 4th time in this game.
Another breaking ball, but this one is inside, and Phillips sees that as a fastball. You've got a guy throwing the ball 96 miles an hour, and he throws you a breaking ball inside that drops straight down. Well, you can just tip your cap.
That's the first time in his career, Brandon Phillips, that he's fanned 4 times in a game. Tough one right there. Here's Bruce.
97 right on the outside corner.
There you can see Jay has had some success against Joel Hanrahan. Off from first base is Votto.
If you could put a hit out there now, really put some pressure on Hanrahan.
Votto takes second. Defensive indifference. No steal for Joey. Well, yeah, as you say, Cowboy, a hit here makes it an 8-6 game.
Then you can start talking about home runs.
That's into the main media press box off to our left.
Two for Jay.
Valdez at third and Votto at second. And now a full count. Heisey on deck.
And if you're Jay Bruce here, you're really just looking for something that's middle away that you can drive the other way. You protect on the inside, but anything that you can extend to has to be out over the plate.
Back-to-back strikeouts of Phillips and Bruce here in the bottom of the ninth.
Both on sliders, down and in. And the thing about those pitches, as you can see where the pitch is, it's a strike whether Jay swings or not.
So here's Heisey, 1 out of 4. Base hit back in the 6th. This inning certainly had a promising start to it. Hits by Cozart, Stubbs, and Votto spelled the end of Juan Cruz. Meant that Clint Hurdle needed to use his closer on a night that he probably would have just as soon stayed away from it. But Hanrahan has gotten strikeouts of first Phillips and then Bruce. Now it's on the shoulders of Heisey.
Well, Hanrahan's had to come in and work a little bit.
Reds have now struck out 14 times tonight, one shy of equaling their season high of 15. That was that Yankee game in New York, contest that Ivan Nova started. Two for 12 tonight. Runners in scoring position, way off what they did certainly in the Houston series when they went 9 out of 18. And he struck him out. So Hanrahan comes on and strikes out Phillips, Bruce, and Heisey. 15 strikeouts in the game for Pittsburgh pitching, and the Pirates get within 2 of the first place Reds as they win it here tonight by the final score of 8-4. Boy, you look back now, Cowboy, you kind of lament those home runs by McGee and Presley in the 5th and 6th innings, but really 2 out of 13 with runners in scoring position, not going to get it done most nights.
No, and that's the one area that the Reds have really got to improve on. If they don't do that, it's going to make it very difficult to beat the A pitchers in the game. And sooner or later, those A pitchers are going to show up.
8-4 the final. The Pirates a winner. Reminder, stay with us. Reds Live post game right around the corner.